Damn, Gary, some serious gourmet. What flavor is this? That's right, it's the all-hell medium roast private blend. Check out the Geek Coffee Nerdrotic page for our other options like the Decadent, Feathers of Liberty, vanilla-infused flavored coffee. Or if you're looking for something darker, try the Dark Roast FNT blend of the Fellowship. You know what? Just buy all three. GeekGrindCoffee.com. Use discount code Nerdrotic.
Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome, travelers, to the fringes of reality, where the strange and mysterious meet, and the thin veil between fact and fiction is torn. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.
Damn, that intro's good.
It's so
every time.
The Forbidden Frontier. So good.
Every time I see it, I'm like, I can't believe they have me on this show.
It's a great show.
Honestly, I can't either.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
Hey,
I love you.
Hey.
I can't wait to see you in a week, buddy.
Dude,
is it a week?
It's
No,
1 week from 1 week.
1 week from today.
No,
welcome.
What? Oh shit!
That's right.
That came up real quick.
It did, and we're going to be doing some Forbidden Frontier stuff from jolly old England, from Stonehenge and
that's right.
all kinds of stuff. Get our vlogging cams out and be like travel vloggers and everything. We'll just talk up all the time.
Are people allowed to go to the Rendlesham location?
I think we should try.
We should definitely try.
We should try.
I doubt it, but I mean, like, why not?
I was thinking about that.
What are none of the cops have guns, dude. We can do whatever the hell we want.
That's true. Wait, wasn't it on like a military base though?
Call them lesbians. We cannot call them lesbians.
Wow.
Don't make that mistake.
I'm gonna call every single cop there. Are you a lesbian?
So, are you a lesbian? How does that work around here?
Mugshot.
So yeah, I love that intro. I retweeted it. Forbidden Frontier. Follow us on Twitter. Forbidden Frontier
And Instagram, I think, right? Are we on Instagram?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yes.
If one of the chicks are doing it, then
gotta see.
Then we are.
X-ray girl.
Where is X-ray? Is she in like a
she's in the
glacier
Alps,
somewhere?
man. She's
in a glacier
somewhere.
somewhere. Oh, in the Alps.
Yeah.
She's at a German youth camp right now, and
Oh, okay. Not what I was expecting, but
I sent her there for some, for some training for the job.
Oh my gosh!
Could write it off.
Wow.
Well, according to TikTok and Reddit, what the hell? So, oh well.
Sure, why not?
Let's talk about UFOs.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. This is one of my favorite. Oh, I need to introduce people first. I probably should do that.
Sure.
I'm kind of lost without X-ray girl.
Well, you're excited, obviously, to get into this.
Me too.
You've been talking about the Phoenix Lights since we started the show.
Yes. And I watched that documentary again with Mrs. Nerdrotic right before the show, and I freaking love every second of it. It's one of the best UFO docs ever made by James Fox. It's old.
I'm really liking James Fox more and more.
Me too.
I've seen that one before. I've seen the Phoenix Lights documentary before. I watched it again, really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed his other documentary, the one about the Brazilian Roswell. That was a great documentary too, and he frames things really well. Where it's like I'm trying to get down to the truth of it. I'm not just trying to say, hey, here's UFOs for UFO's sake. I'm trying to interview people and get to the truth. So I really enjoy his stuff.
Well, he says something right in the beginning of it too. He's like, 95% of this stuff is is just crazy. But it's
Yes.
that 5% that I'm looking at and looking for. And he really does seem to find that and present it very smoothly.
He does. Before we get started, I do need to publicly apologize to Mahler. I was supposed to be on his 250th anniversary, and by the time I got my crap together,
What happened?
I'm jumping on. He's all, we're ending. I'm all, I was supposed to go on last night, and I couldn't. And we had last minute stuff on the video.
For shame.
I suck. Sorry, Mahler.
For shame.
For shame.
He's taking his voice back.
He's gonna take his voice back, and he probably should.
10%. There goes that intro.
There goes that intro. Hello, Quarter Black Garrett.
Hey, what's going on, man? I really like this documentary. I can't wait to talk about it. I do actually have a whole timeline breakdown that I wrote. So if you don't know what the scenario is, if you haven't watched the documentary, I think we should go through it. But yeah, I'm excited. I like this one.
I do too. Nice shirt. I saw you buy that. That's
Thank you.
I can't believe you're wearing a sweatshirt. It was
It's like 96 outside, but we keep our house super cold, so it was just so cold that I didn't want to turn it down, so I put the sweater on.
It's 105 right now here.
Wow.
I'm sure the humidity is also like
What's
60%.
that like?
It's awesome. I don't mind the heat. It doesn't
I
bother
hate
me.
it.
You hate it?
I
It's
hate it,
perfect
yeah.
here.
It sucks.
It's probably like 75 degrees
That's great.
in the daytime. That's like the hottest it gets.
And pretty soon you won't be able to see the sun, and you'll be locked in your house for 6 months. But
Hey, listen. I don't think about these things. All right. It's the
Trade-off.
summertime. The sun is here. I'm enjoying it.
where I am, I can look forward to winter. I saw like in the documentary, they're in some winter clothing. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to wear that for 2 weeks. Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
He has those little earmuffs on.
Yeah. Stevensville. Hey, that's where I got my FJ Cruiser, by the way. I bought it from Stevensville and they shipped it to California. Yeah.
As a Texan, all the people from Stevensville were very credible. I felt like I could. They're all honest.
You're being serious here?
There's something about the accent that literally makes me want to trust them more. It's just an area thing, I guess.
I think when we get more in the documentary, the reason it's even there is like so many people saw it. So many people said the same exact thing.
Yes.
And it's undeniable. Like, but yeah, Phoenix Lights is the #1 mass sighting ever. So in modern times. Hello, Adam Crigler. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I am really excited for London next week. I can't believe it's next week already. That's insane. Now, I don't know if you how many people know about this. I lived in Arizona for a long time, and I got family in Phoenix. I've been in and out of that airport. They made a reference to Camelback Mountain, and I've hiked around there. So like I know the size references to the things that they're referring to, and it's kind of crazy. And it went from basically across the entire state all the way down to Tucson, which I also lived in Tucson for a long time. So it's very cool to see all that stuff, and I recognized every single thing. The backyards are very, very Phoenix style. So
that'll
really
be
cool.
really helpful to know, because I was like trying to place the exact, because there was a bunch of different over 2,000 witnesses from all the angles, and I'm trying to in my mind figure out where it was exactly. But yeah, that'll be helpful.
They have there's a map somewhere. We could probably Google it that gives you the line of where it just went.
I got a couple of photos from one of the documentaries.
It was like Scottsdale before Phoenix. I think it started up in Scottsdale and went all the way down to Tucson, which is that's a lot. That's like 300 miles.
That's a long way.
Crazy amount.
That is. I just drove between those two cities.
200 miles.
Like 4 times this year. So yeah. And it's a nice bright sky when you're outside of the light pollution. You can see forever and tons of stars in the middle of the desert. So it's.
I mean, even in Tucson, you could see a lot of stars. Tucson is not that big of a city. Like Phoenix is a little bit bigger, so Phoenix has got a little bit of light pollution, but Tucson's not so bad.
It's not so bad. All right. So we're talking about I Know What I Saw. I just watched it with Mrs. Nerdrotic. We finished about an hour ago. I'll watch it again. It's so good. It doesn't cover just the Phoenix Lights. It starts with that, but it talks about more like really credible sightings and credible witnesses. And this is, again, 15 years ago. 2008. X-ray girl's not here, so I can't do the math. But this is before any supposed government admission, and there was one particular scene that triggered the shit out of me, and it was the CNN reporter.
Dude, I was thinking about that too.
Okay, so the CNN reporter at the time, remember this 2008 Bush administration, and I don't disagree with him on what he said.
Anderson Cooper?
No, Anderson Cooper was the other. The guy
I was thinking of that
Gary Cuckman, whatever his name is, talks about, Fife, the governor Fife, what was his last name? He was saying, he was asking the question, hey, we live in a government that loves to scare us. So why would they not want to tell us about UFOs? They absolutely want to keep us fear. We have orange alerts and red alerts. And you know what? He's not wrong. Those were there to put fear into everybody. But fast forward to today, and I'm like, I wonder what that guy's opinions were on COVIDs and lockdowns. And guess what?
Did you look
on the government's D, shaming people who didn't get vaccinated, shaming people, which was just a whole fear campaign. But this guy was calling it out back then. And I just want to show you, this is the perspective that history gives us, that they're all a bunch of fucking liars. And this is why you shouldn't trust the mainstream media or the government. And that guy supposedly was out for the people, and this government tries to keep people in fear, and was one of the main fear mongers for CNN with Anderson Cooper during that time. This is, that's why perspective helps. That's why it's good to remember all of this stuff. That's why it's, as much as you can, have a very long memory, because you go, wow, that guy was on a totally different side of this issue. He's not very consistent because he's on one side. And this side is the uniparty. This side is the enemy of the people. So
the establishment.
Anderson Cooper's little intro was very funny, because he was like, "Look here on the show that I do. We don't like to make choices for you. We like to give you the truth. We want to give you all the information, all the sides, and then you can decide."
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
Right. Okay.
That made me crack up too.
Dude, Anderson Cooper.
God.
Okay.
Oh my! How
that's the thing is like you just said, all of these news outlets that have been painting, that's also something I got out of this. They've been painting the UFO phenomenon as a ridiculous story, people in their backyards, Billy Bob getting probed in the butt by Zorbu. Going through this documentary, there are so many credible witnesses, and they do a great job, as he usually does in his documentary, about flipping those things, of showing back in the day when people would just make funny, on late night TV show, they wonder why the aliens only contact Billy Bob in his backyard. Ha 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 ha. And then he cuts right to very credible pilots, several astronauts, government officials, police officers, governors, all of these people that are very credible, and like specifically like the military personnel, because they're not like getting paid by the government. Like, they are getting paid by the government, but they're not like high level government people. They're just like pilots and guards and footmen, basically, that are credible, and they are basically in the media have been completely disregarded in favor of what's a funny story about somebody being abducted, or they think that they have aliens inside of them.
A good
instead
example
of going to these examples.
A perfect example, I'd say, is when you had that woman who was taking the calls. She got like 1,000 calls and called every single one of them back to get everyone's story about what was happening. And every single one of these accounts was, they didn't know what it was. It was silent. It was massive. It was definitely not anything they've ever seen before. And one kid was like, it looked like an airplane. And that's what the news ran with. That everyone, it was an airplane. Like, look, like we have an eyewitness that it was an airplane. And it was like one kid.
And that's the one they go off
of. Yeah, out of 1,000 accounts that all said the same shit. Like, that was not a.
And that lady was the vice mayor, and she was a councilwoman at the time. So she wasn't just like taking calls, like, oh, I'm taking calls for a news agency. No, like, she was the vice mayor councilwoman that was bringing this stuff up, and then followed up on all this. Like she said, they got like 2,000 calls, and she was able to follow up on
like
700 of them.
750 or something.
And they all told the same story. But
by the way, really good at her job. She
cared.
Yeah, she actually followed up, and the way that it got brought up in the council meeting was because while she was walking in, reporters came to her and said, "Hey, there's people talking about these Phoenix lights that happened the other day. What is that?" And she was like, "I don't know what that is. Let me look into it." And then she brought it to the council meeting, and everybody made fun of her. They made articles out, like reporters lambasting her, doing little caricatures of her being crazy. And then hundreds of people came out going, "No, this is not crazy. We did all see this. What's going on?"
How old were you guys in 97? Were you born, Garrett?
5.
You're like 5?
You were 5?
Yeah.
97, I was 13.
I was 6.
13. So you probably remember. I remember that like clearly because Art Bell talked about it. Like if it wasn't the night it happened, it was
I'd
the very
imagine.
next night. It was like we have a breaking UFO story. We had people call. It was freaking brilliant, and it was all over the news, all over the fucking news, and for days. And they even came back, like the Phoenix Lights came back some years later.
Well, there was a 92 incident that was very similar over Phoenix, and I think a 95 incident.
97?
And then 97 was the main.
Philadelphia. Right. Thanks for playing. -2 is not an age. You were a little egg. You were separated into 2. You were a little sperm floating around in your dad's ball sack, and you were an egg in your mommy. Okay, that's how babies are made. Yep. Until modern.
The more you know.
The more you know. God, I need that clip. Boo doo doo doo. But nice.
I do too.
You're -2. Hey, thanks for being here, kiddo.
That's a demographic we need more of. Hey,
what?
Bring more of the younger kids into watching this stuff.
You're welcome here. We're just giving you a hard time. We love you. Yeah, I was 27. Right? I was 27. So yeah, that was the era I was listening to Art every night. And this was like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. We got the big UFO story. We had a UFO fly over. Well, this is what we like. This isn't Washington, but it's like a UFO flew over a major city, and thousands of people saw it. Now it sucks because if that had happened today, we'd have some like a legit video.
Oh yeah, but I know.
It was like people had to run inside and get their video cameras.
Zorbu, those guys, they figured it out. They can't do it again because they know that there'd be so much footage. Back then, there was like 3 cameras on it, and one is really good. One of the videos is really, really good. But yeah, like hundreds of people, all dimensions, like from like air traffic controllers, from people directly under the lights, people from all these different angles. It's the best UFO scenario I've ever.
Well, and I want to go ahead, Gary. I just wanted to ask.
What's going to get brought up is, well, it's one of ours. It's one of ours. Except this is something James Fox goes over in the documentary and brings up that Life magazine. By the way, I bought it on eBay during the.
Do you have that?
I just bought it on eBay, so I'm gonna watch it.
Dude, but I was thinking about that too.
From the 50s. Well, there's one on eBay right now, but it's signed by Marilyn Monroe, so it's like $10,000. But you can get it for like $100, $125.
You're like, I just want the UFOs. Though.
Yeah,
flying saucers.
Yeah, I know. Melissa's all Marilyn Monroe's on the cover. Yeah, I want it for the UFOs. Okay.
You're like that top corner. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. But in that magazine, there are UFOs that are described exactly what they described for the Phoenix Lights, and then they do other cases where they have described ships, craft that look like the Phoenix Light, and this goes back to the 50s. So we did not have anything like this in the 50s.
This thing is crazy. It's a mile wide.
It's a mile wide. That one guy said you could land all of our you can land like all of our B-2 bomber, or I think at the time was 40 B-2 bombers on it.
Well, when you first hear it described, everyone thinks, oh, that sounds like the B-2 bomber. Silent. You know, it's a V. It's dark. You can't really tell what it is. Like, sure, of course, it's just some military thing until you find out the size.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's not something that we have.
No.
The air traffic controller, from their position, they actually can't even see it on the other side of the mountain.
Right.
They saw it. It reported the size of it. It was about like a mile wide. It was like the span of it was huge, but they could see it flying low over the city and then go behind the mountain. So
it was shimmering like
the
heat waves.
Lights.
Yeah. Like
the kid described that. Adults described it that way.
Like it had some kind of field around it, or maybe it wasn't entirely here.
Well, and the fact that it was completely silent.
Yeah.
Every single person said the same thing, that they couldn't hear it, that it was silent. Something that big, if it was from us, would make a sound.
Yeah.
Some sort of sound, whether you don't hear it until after it's past you, so like the sound caught up, or the way that it kicks it from backwards, so you don't hear it if you're looking at it coming at you. You know, who knows what kind of technology they have, but
and also
nothing back in the 90s.
Not just that, no glare at all.
Right.
A bunch of different people described it as a completely glareless light, and it was a shimmering light. The different light balls were almost like one guy I think explained it almost like a can light in a ceiling. There was like almost a space for it, and then inside of it was a ball shaped light source, but it wasn't like a light bulb. There was no filament. It was just made of light. Mm-hmm. It was just and like I said, multiple people saying the same thing, not just one person.
Do we want to like pull up the documentary? It's on YouTube for free.
I have it.
And let's go with Garrett, because Garrett he broke down the timeline.
Yeah. I have the timeline.
We could very easily bounce around from different things, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Okay, so on the evening of March 13th, 6 amber lights were seen flying super low and very slow over Phoenix. So these lights, again, no glare, no sound. Multiple witnesses described it that way from all different directions. There was even a witness that was directly underneath it when it was flying right over him. This was then the next day. Several people called to say, "Hey, was anybody calling to report these lights? Because I saw these lights." And I guess the telemarketer, not telemarketer, but the what is that called?
It was the military base. The secretary.
She called the city, and the secretary was like, nobody called, but that was completely incorrect because she had called the night before to confirm. It seemed that there was just no movement on it other than just people around just going, that was pretty weird. There was a group of friends that were sitting around a campfire that were talking and conversing, and then saw something in the sky, and then they all saw it. There was a couple that they were out on their porch. They saw it together. There was a woman. She had seen actually two. Was it 90? It was 90 in 92. She had seen 3 lights, very similar, amber, no glare, moving slowly. And she took a photo of it. So there's actually a photo of that incident. She then saw this, and she got some footage of it on 35 millimeter.
The crazy part of that, right before that happened, her husband came home, and she was like, "I see these lights. They were right." And she goes to point at where the lights were, and they freaking appear right as she goes to like show her husband, and they like appear right there, and she's just like, there they are. That's the ones. Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, you know, it makes me think of, and I know I'm jumping towards the end here, but the split, not the split test, where the quantum physics, when you observe, it changes.
Oh yeah.
It's so when you don't look at it,
by the way,
it goes all over. It is weird. I know.
That's really, really weird.
And then when you observe it, suddenly it's just the 2 lines. So they're like, they know that they're being observed. So the way that they function changes, which is just insane to think about. Quantum physics, they behave differently when they are observed. It's like, that's insane to think about. Like, that's
Adam. this is all a random accident. The universe is just a random accident that just oopsie doopsie, some plasma and some rock ran into each other, and some sludge became people, and it was all an accident.
Well, when I think about her going, look, my husband just got home. Hey, come here. Look at these. I just saw these lights right there, and then they appear at that moment when she's trying to observe. When her intent was there, it just. And I thought about that when that happened, and then they talk about it at the end. I don't want to jump to the end here, but it's like that gave me chills at the end of the documentary when they start talking about that. And I'm like, I was thinking about that already. Like, holy shit!
There's theories.
Like, we can do like, okay, say this is aliens. Why in the hell would they did the cloaking device break or something like which could have? You never know.
Why are they doing that on purpose?
Right.
People mention, hey, if these alien civilizations are so damn good at what they do and they can travel like light years and stuff, how does shit break down and crash? Well, because they're traveling long distances. Chances are they're piloted by drones, and shit goes wrong. Like,
or they don't care.
Or they
don't. They're just like, we'll kind of like cover it up.
I definitely lean towards, if we get seen by whatever, who cares?
Little monkey people, it doesn't matter.
Look, these 2Ds.
Look, when they tell each other, they laugh. They don't believe each other when they tell it, so it doesn't even matter.
What do we do at the zoo when the animals look at us? We go, hi, like this.
Right.
So the next day, the coming days, it was talked about around and on the news, and the reporters came up to the councilwoman. What was her name? Frances Barwood. Frances Barwood comes up to her. They say, hey, do you have a comment on this? Do you know what this is? And she had not known, so she took that to the council, and we're like, hey, what is this? What's going on? Do we have anybody looking into it? Her other colleagues basically just made fun of her for even bringing up the question of, what is it? There's people that are saying that they witnessed something. What is it? And they just made fun of her and said that she was a UFO crazy person, and they got into the news, and then hundreds, thousands of people from the citizenry and all kinds of different offices came forward with their witnesses, validated it. This 700 she followed up with, the vast majority, like except for one person was a kid that Adam was talking about, a child that said it was planes, and that was what they went with. They took it to the point where they took to John McCain. John McCain was like, "Well, I'll send it to the National Archives."
The National Archives.
If you don't know what the National Archives is, it's not an investigative body. They archive stuff. They didn't look into it.
Yeah, it's Uniparty McCain being a Uniparty dipshit, just getting people.
Yeah. So that moved to the governor. Then held a press conference saying, "Hey, we have answers. We have answers for everyone." And then he brought in.
Show it. Wait. Show it. Can you show it?
Let's see if we can show this. Yeah, that's a good point.
You can do still visual aids. I mean, like, we won't get in trouble for that.
Let me bring it up.
Yeah. I mean, this
thing's free on YouTube now, so I was really happy to see that. I was like, oh, look.
Yeah. I was like, Perry, help
this thing really.
Oh wait, it's on YouTube. Never mind.
YouTube, and then we can share it with other people and tell them, hey, this is the homework. This is what we're doing.
Go watch it. How many of you out there watched it? Watch the documentary.
I saw a few people.
Sound off. I want to see ones in chat.
Ones in chat if you watched.
Ones in chat if you watched.
Yeah, I'm repping the Simcast today. I think Chrissy gave me a medium shirt.
Yeah, you're looking swole over there.
Yeah,
dude.
it's a tight shirt.
Just ripping out.
I know it's all a lie. I know.
Yeah.
Lots of ones. Gotta love it. Respect it.
Trying to find just the individual.
I had to take off my workout shirt that I was wearing right before. It didn't look good.
No.
I was working out in it all day. Eric, he's such a jerk. He's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Thanks, Eric.
So I guess
watched it the most.
He watched it the most.
The title is "I Know What I Saw."
I know what I saw. You can watch it afterwards too. I highly recommend it. It's it's perfectly entertaining and informative. Like it's got the perfect. It's not over stylized. It's very much a documentary, but man, it just keeps hitting beats. Like it's perfect. I like documentaries. I've worked on some, and I just think editing wise, it's
really good. Yeah,
believe it or not, in my opinion, editing documentaries is a far more entertaining form of editing than a film where you're being told what to do and stuff. I love where it's just you get a pile of footage and you have to find the narrative in just this mess, and it's fun. That was my favorite part of editing.
It's cool watching Ben do his videos because he goes live on Twitch often and just edits his videos live. It's kind of fun to see that. I've seen it a couple of times.
Hail to Ben, by the way.
What's up, Ben? I don't know if he's watching, but great
bummer. I can't find this. I can't find the press conference.
What?
I can't find a visual for that press conference.
Well, just pull up here.
I'm gonna try to find.
That's why I was scrolling through the actual.
What press conference are we looking for?
We're looking for the governor's press conference.
The governor's when he says he's got answers.
Here, I got a photo.
It's in the beginning.
Got a photo, at least.
It's close to the beginning.
So basically, he brings out a staffer that's dressed as a.
I got it.
As an alien. And makes fun of the entire situation.
This is after he took his helmet off, or the alien hat.
Yeah, because he had a big mask on. That did not make people very happy. They got very pissed.
It's insulting, dude. There it is. Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, we won't get in trouble for that.
I was looking like in the middle. I don't know why.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got some
muted.
answers finally for you.
Yeah, I want it to be muted.
Oh, that's good.
Bring him in right now. Keep him away from me. Don't bring him too close. He makes like a wisecrack like that.
So you guys are too serious. Well, because people did see something.
Serious. It's like, what? Bro, they are you calling them? They basically called them all crazy.
Yeah,
he did, and it was fucking stupid. A lot of people were really insulted by this guy, but he came around and apologized for it and admitted he saw it, and actually gave one of the best answers to that guy, that CNN cocksucker, who said when the government why they want to keep us in fear, and he's like, well, you're dealing with people for one, and you're dealing with something like UFOs, which makes us all vulnerable. If they can fly, if they can have ships travel through time, dimensions, whatever, we dead if they want us dead.
True.
And it's a lot easier to not believe it. Yeah. It's a lot easier to not believe it. You know, that was going on in Germany at a certain time. Did you ever read Order of the Phoenix? Did you not learn a lesson from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix when the Ministry put their head in the sand and refused to believe Voldemort existed? I mean, it's the same thing. It's just fear.
That was a Harry Potter. I've never.
Yes,
that was a Harry Potter reference. Indeed. Yes.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Okay.
Look, the government's dumb.
Harry
and they
Potter?
don't want to listen.
I'm just kidding. I don't
know. So yeah, he does this, and then they
don't hate me. Gosh, relax.
They unmask his assistant, and this was this was the attitude at the time, and it's still the attitude with a lot of people.
Basically, yeah.
Like, oh, silly aliens, silly aliens.
I almost thought it would look like Alex Stein a little bit. Wouldn't that be? Can someone put Alex Stein's face?
That would be kind of funny.
It's just Alex Stein. Like, wait a minute, how old is Alex Stein?
So it didn't stop there because people got really mad at him, and then he took a little bit more serious after that, and they continued investigating in it, and they investigated because they asked the Air Force, "What do you think this is?" And after about like 5 or 6 months, they came back and said, "Flares." They're flares. Like again, they're almost doubling down. Almost doubling down on like you are stupid. You think that these are aliens. They're flares.
Moving in perfect unison across the entire sky with zero sound.
300 plus miles down to Tucson.
Wasn't their first response was, we stopped investigating any of this stuff in like 1960?
We don't.
1970. We don't investigate this stuff anymore. What? You
not
don't.
lying.
You should always investigate it.
They always ask
regardless.
the Air Force, but now that we're finding
It's not
out
the Air Force anymore.
There's committees within compartmentalization, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
there's all these things, black projects we don't know about, and they've been investigating them the whole damn time. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the other documentary that you sent that wasn't, I know what I saw. It actually, they interview a pilot that was on that Air Force base that did encounter the object and reported the same exact thing.
Oh.
So weird.
You know who
Look at that. They did have information.
Here, you go on, Garrett. I'm going to find somebody else who reported it.
Oh, hey, I don't know if this is who you're going to look up, but somebody that I'm a big fan of. Kurt Russell
reported the Phoenix Lights.
Kurt Russell
from his private plane.
From his private plane.
That's cool.
He was like, "Hey, air traffic. What? I'm seeing some strange lights." And they're like, "We see it too. What is that? It's weird." So yeah, he saw it. So I trust Kurt Russell. He's the most credible. But I really like this documentary too because it doesn't just do this scenario and this story. It follows up on all of these other ones that are very line up very closely to this. Amber lights, triangle shaped craft, makes no sound.
Flare denier.
That's good.
Yeah.
And in the other documentary, they have scientists go through and test. They go, okay, let's test the light output of a flare over a course of time, and let's compare that to the video. And they show that flares, they have this spike, it's up and down because it's a fire, it's kind of dimming and getting brighter. And this hits the same light and it doesn't change the entire time it's on screen. The other documentary is really cool too.
I love James's response. He goes, someone asked him about well, what would the government say? He's just like, I just want them to be honest. We don't know what the hell it is. It's not us, and we don't know what it is, and just tell us.
One guy
just trying to deny it.
So one guy just said, "Just tell us we don't deserve to know shit, and tell us."
Tell us that.
Yeah, do that.
But they can't because they don't know. And even if they say if they go that far and say we're not going to tell you shit is classified, then you know.
That's confirming.
Justice, I want to get to his super chat here because I'll agree and disagree a little bit on the TR3B. They did not see a TR3B. That was not a TR3B. A TR3B is the triangle.
What is a TR3B?
The TR3B is like the Belgian triangles. I think I'll tell you what I think. I think it's ours that's reverse engineered from alien technology. That's what I think it is. But I do think that could possibly be ours. It looks very, and it might be our first truly stealth. This thing can cloak. This thing can run completely silent. But
why would you need it to be a mile across?
Beaver T Justice, I love you.
Is a TR3? Sorry, is a TR3B a real plane?
No, it's called the TR3B. It's called the TR3B by I have no idea whether it or not. I have none. But it's been called the TR3B forever, and it's the triangle, and that's the one that's the most hotly debated. That is it a UFO or is it ours? And it's the one where I would probably lean to maybe it's ours, but that means we've had it for a long fucking time because I might even reverse that decision because I do remember seeing old if you watch, there's little mini UFO documentaries and you got to watch a lot of Ancient Aliens, but there's a lot of old Renaissance paintings that have fucking UFOs in them.
They show that in the other documentary too, and one of them looks like a TR3B, but not exactly. So we have anti-gravity technology. We've had it since the 50s. Everyone should go watch Mark McCandlish documentary called 0 Point. ARVs are real. The TR3B is real. Whatever the TR3B is, Buford T. Just, it's real. We've seen so many of them. That's one of the most seen. It's kind of
that looks just like the plane that the guy was walking in the woods and he got closer.
That does look a lot like that, though. Yeah, the Rendlesham.
I don't know how real that picture.
This photo is not real because look at the shadows under that helicopter, and then look at the shadow under that. They should be the same, but it's darker.
Right.
So it's fake.
Look. The
but
plane
it's like a
is
rendering
directly under the angle of where
Let me show you something.
the angle is off of the light. It should be like right there where the shadow starts. And
the Belgian UFO wave happened in '89. It was super famous. It's got one of the best pictures of a TR-3B ever. Okay, and I'm going to pull it up right now.
All right.
But I will watch that documentary, the 0 Point.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Buford T. Justice is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, Buford T. Justice.
There it is. So
Buford T. Justice.
Zoom in on it. That's
Mark
in the UFO. That's pretty much what people think the TR-3B is. A freaking triangle with the lights at the points and one in the middle.
Most of the people said, though, that it was one center light and two side lights.
So Phoenix
the Phoenix lights.
It was like boomerang. It was a giant fucking boomerang with multiple lights, and those have been seen all over the place. They've caught those on space shuttle footage.
I have a photo of that too.
Yeah, I mean, those are not anything new either. But
this was the mock-up.
But something a mile.
That's a football field right there in the middle.
Really hard to hide. Okay,
true.
I'm gonna say. I told you the story. I saw a stealth fighter fly over Carlsbad right before they even admitted that they were real. At the time, we only had stealth bombers, and at the time, they had just admitted those were real. Now we all knew about them because there was a toy company that made toys of them before they came out. But that's what they're talking about. But yeah.
Well, they also reported that there were two other lights that would dock and undock, kind of in the back of this formation. They would come in, they would sit here, and they would disappear, or they would come in and then leave again. Along with the 6.
If we had we might. If we have anti-gravity technology, I just don't know how we, since the 50s, would not apply that into the private sector to own the world. There would be so many ways you can apply that because if we have anti-gravity technology, we can travel in time.
Yeah, like we would be winning every war ever. Yeah. There's no contest. So why would they test it then and not ever use it?
Now, do we understand it a lot more and maybe can reproduce in a ship, because that's where the government's going to focus their application, not the private sector yet. They're going to weaponize it first and then bleed it out the private sector. Maybe. And maybe it's just enough to where we can fly a ship, but we can't do much more than that. And maybe it turns humans into jelly every time they fly it. I don't freaking know. That's what Bob Lazar was talking about, is like they know how to turn it on, basically. They know how to turn it on, but they don't know how to recreate it. They don't know they know how to even control it a little bit. They can fly it. They can, the UFO that they have supposedly at formerly at S4, that they could fly. They could fly around. But they
just don't know how it flies.
Half a century with a technology that we completely understand would be, I think, would be reapplied to. I mean, so much of the military industrial complex is based on fear. We know this already. And one of the big things is, and I think it's pretty clear nowadays, is they really try to make our enemies out to much more than they really are. Right. China demographically has got about 10 years left.
Yeah, it's falling apart.
Money, it's falling apart. And it's a giant like house of cards. And Russia demographically has been falling apart for a long time. Not saying you want to get into a war and like take over their territory. They have huge swaths of territory. They'd be impossible to take over. But like if they brought, the war to us and it wasn't nuclear, we'd wipe the fucking floor with them.
Yeah.
Like wouldn't even be
They can't even get a probe on the moon.
Yeah.
They just tried. They got chumped by India. The next day or the day after, we're like, oh, boop. What you gonna do about it?
So much of this is fear. But I mean, like to think that like Saddam Hussein was any kind of a threat to us was kind of a fucking joke. Especially hindsight now. You're like, what?
Well, I mean, he was going to take the the oil off the gold standard, and we can't have that.
Yeah, well, then, yeah, that was a threat. I mean, that's an actual threat.
It's geopolitical threat.
Yeah, come on, get fucking real. So to think it's our enemies do, like, especially when it comes back to the Tic Tac, to think that China or Russia could make one of these things is absurd.
Well, and China and Russia also report similar scenarios. That's what this documentary was basically all about, was how across the world, very credible people like pilots and astronauts and government officials like, Nick Pope, report these same things all over the place. And so it's not just one area. It's not like I saw this because all the UFO stuff's been coming out. I keep seeing this meme photo saying all of the reported UFO sightings, and they have all the lights lit over North America and some of the, like, basically the Western world, and they're like, it's only a Western world thing. And I'm like, number one, are you getting data from anywhere else?
Right.
What about all of the stories that we do hear? Like, we had the Brazilian Roswell. Like, the Brazilian Roswell it's not just North American stuff, it's South American stuff, it's Middle American stuff, it's European.
Every country
has a story.
Every country has a story, and they've been a lot of them.
It's like, a human phenomenon.
A lot of countries in South America have been really freaking open about it. Like,
yeah,
I go, no, like, this shit's crazy, and every time something happens, the Americans come down.
A lot of what I'm hearing reminds me of the Grush interview, and the hearing that just took place last month. It's like all the stuff that they were saying is in these documentaries.
Yeah.
Like every time we dig, here we're gonna talk about this. I like read it, and it's like this is what they're saying now. It's like they didn't say anything
rehash.
new. Yeah, and the only thing that's different is what they're saying is we need more defense budget. It's like,
Yep.
So it's that fear.
This exactly, and that's this older documentary hit home that, like, the theme in that documentary was still like, we need disclosure from the government. And now we are in an age where the government just has no credibility. They could go out and they could, like I said, they could show us UFOs landing on the White House lawn, and most people are not going to believe it. And
CGI.
The government's earned this. So I find it far more credible seeing that little kid talking about the shimmering, the heat wave shimmering under the UFO. Right. I'm like, you know what? That's where the truth's going to come. It has to be. We need to know the Phoenix Lights. We do.
I love how proud of that kid. He's like, here in Phoenix, the roads get so hot they shimmer.
Yeah.
Well, that shimmer, it's the same. It was like, oh, this kid, he loves his spot. It does. Well, I mean, anywhere it's hot.
He took advantage of the spotlight was on him, and the kid delivered. Okay,
he's like, I got some knowledge.
I got some
knowledge on y'all camera. A little wink.
Let me get this perspective here. Visualize it for you. Get the shimmers.
It was good. I thought it was really good, and the people were real. Like when you have he took the title from a couple of people, said, I know what I saw, and that's that's where you get a title, just from within, and it was great. And it was just two, like, you could tell it was the 90s. The guy had like the little chin beard and the Reverend Martin,
the hair.
It was they were legit. And they were all saying the same shit.
Yeah, and they showed the conference, like John Podesta.
Oh my god,
disgusting person. But he was saying it's time for us to be honest and show everyone the stuff that we have. I'm like,
God, did I just agree with Podesta?
Damn it.
No, I know.
Yeah. But then you think, like, 20 years down the line, what has changed? Like, not much has changed from their position.
People deserve to know. I mean, forget about all his spirit cooking and all that.
They also deserve to know all the other stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So they set the scene with the Phoenix Lights, and what it does, what the Phoenix Lights is like, no, there's not a ton of photographic evidence. You just have thousands of people who saw the same thing. And hopefully, who knows why we're still seeing them, by the way. They're still all over the place. But I still think it's either an accident or, like Adam said, they don't give a fuck when they're seen. But most of the time, I think, well, if they have the technology to get here, they can probably just turn on a cloaking device, and there's shit. There's shit over our heads all fucking day that we just don't see. So, I don't know.
Zorbu's flying. I can hear his ship, actually. I hear you, Zorbu.
Zorbu wants to be heard,
Keeps
though.
trying, dude.
That's the thing.
Trying.
So what do you got next, Garrett?
Well, that was basically the culmination of the Phoenix Lights story. It went from everyone saw it, government tried to make fun of it,
flares,
and that was kind of where it left, with a bunch of people just dissatisfied with how it was investigated.
Is he a sheriff?
Yeah, he was a former sheriff or something like that.
This is like, Stephen. Is this Stephenville?
No, this is still Phoenix Lights.
This guy's like, I know what I saw, and I have no idea what it was at all. And I'm like, I like this. I trust this guy over any politician.
Yep.
Dude's like sitting on his farm. He's like, yeah, that was. I can't tell you what that thing was.
And they showed a lot of people like that are just like, I don't know what it was. I'm not saying it's UFO, but I don't know what it was. I saw it. I know what I saw, right? Because they kept trying to make fun of the people, like, oh, we'll send it off to the National Archives. Oh, okay, sure. We're gonna have a press conference and say we have answers, and we're gonna bring out a guy with a UFO costume on. Mm-hmm. When everyone was just going, I don't know what it is. You need to look into it, but I know I saw something. And something 100% happened, because you don't have that many people reporting seeing these lights and on camera and all of these things. So something happened. What was it? That's what we need to figure out.
Just keep in mind that in my lifetime, there was a time where we couldn't identify other planets outside the solar system. We had no idea.
Right.
We had no idea. We suspected it, but we had no idea. And now we do. We know that there's a lot. It's still, our technology is kind of, it's basically based on the light dimming from a freaking star, and you can, we have the Goldilocks zone, right?
And you can see what elements the planet is derived from. It's pretty insane by the way the light bends around it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool and clever how they figure it out, but it's still like it's in its infancy, right?
True.
They are talking about like putting out nano probes that can travel pretty fast. That I think that'll be kind of cool. But
dang.
How would we receive information from them? Because the faster they go, I don't know. That'll be interesting.
No, I read the
time
article.
Stops for you when you hit light speed, right? Just kind of
they wouldn't be able to go light speed.
They wouldn't be able to go light speed, but they go pretty fast.
Yeah.
Think of the Epstein drive from Expanse. But now in my lifetime, they didn't know there was other planets. So when you have that attitude in like the 80s and the 90s of UFOs, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What we know scientifically of what's out there, it's more crazy to think we're alone. I think it's insane to think we're alone.
I think more people are coming to that fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Drake equation, it's just kind of like feels like a bunch of numbers, but it really just shows, like, even in our Milky Way alone, which is what the Drake equation is about, how many different planets would have viable life, and viable like
millions.
Like no, I think it's like 10,000 or something like that in the Milky Way
I
galaxy.
think that's way low. I think
it's
millions.
But it's what we would be able to live on, or something like that, right?
I still think it's millions.
In the Milky Way? Yeah, maybe.
In the Milky Way,
that comes up to then it brings you to the Fermi paradox, right? Of like, why do we not see anything? If there the high likelihood of there being other life out there, why have we not seen it yet?
The Epstein drive.
But then
I know that's an unfortunate name for the drive. I didn't think about that.
Man,
then you think about like how we check these viable planets, right? I was watching a video on it. It was really fascinating because we check them on a very small amount of time. So you can't check all these planets. So each one gets a small amount of time. Each one is only checked on the viability of humans living on it. And then you're only checking the ones again, like only humans can live on it, so you're checking the ones that are around suns that could support our life. So there's like we're investigating like 0.05% of what we could be knowing, you know.
Planets like we suspect. Remember, within my lifetime, there was never water on Mars. It's been
and now it's
forever. Now
the moon's got water.
Mars has got life at one time, and Neptune probably supported life at one time,
and Venus,
like us, or sorry,
and Venus as well. Venus might have life on it now.
I meant to say Venus, not Neptune.
Oh, okay.
Neptune had never had life. It's a big gas ball. Venus, yeah, they think
could have it now.
Very bad happened there. And it's the hottest planet. It's hotter than fucking Mercury. That makes no sense. So
life finds a way.
And
it does seem like it.
And not only that too, it's like when we find a planet, we're not looking at it as it is now. We're looking at it in the past because the light has to travel to get to us. So even if we were to find a planet that has a signal of intelligent life,
we're not looking at the planet because the planet doesn't have light.
Or well,
I get what you're saying.
Right. Yeah, if we get some sort of
solar system,
a signal from something that existed, that civilization could be long gone already, right? Because we're actually also looking at a window in time when we find something. So it's pretty interesting.
And anything that we try to shoot out is also going to take that amount of time to get to any other civilization before then they could pause if they're astronomically lucky to actually get a message, then to interpret it, if they even have eyeballs or mouths or whatever they have to interpret the sound or the message, and then get a message back to us. So like, there's no way that we're even going to be able to do it.
There's a picture that they said that they took, and it was a confirmed picture, right? They had a scientist look at it. And it's in this documentary somewhere. And what I noticed was very interesting about it was the saucer was not here. I'm going to take it wasn't flying like this.
I know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about?
The mapping.
It was flying like this in the picture. And I'm like, the stereotypical UFO floats like this. Whatever. But there it is. This is it right here. That's very clearly flying, in that direction. Right? And they said they had them look at it and like, this is
the UFO doesn't fly. It flies like did you have it tilted up? Yeah. That's how the UFO flies.
Right. Yeah. And like that looked like that. I was like, that how would they have known that? Like the stereotypical UFO, everyone thinks it flies like this. But like you gotta kind of know that they are actually they fly like that.
This is from Chile. And they were mapping. They had a high definition camera under a plane that was taking a picture every 17 seconds for surveying and maps. And this popped up on the right hand side there. So it's crazy. And they had people confirm it. Like, look at the picture. They're going, it's kind of crazy, but like it's pretty close to the plane. It probably was there for like, they just got lucky. Yeah. Because we know how fast these things move. One of the best stories is later on the dock with the Japanese airliner in the Northwest, where it encountered that giant. They didn't have a picture of it. It was a giant ball UFO with lights around it, and the Japanese pilot, they're like, "Can you describe it?" It's quite a big.
Yeah, they basically just said it was large, very big.
Is it civilian or military? No.
Is that the one they confirmed it on radar that they did pick up some object in the space around it? I think that was the same one.
Or was that the island of France?
Well, there were several of them that they confirmed it with radar, and then some of them said that they didn't see anything on radar. So
I think the one in France.
The one in France, yeah. Or how about the one in England? The mile wide one in England. And what James Fox did is there was no footage of the they have, by the way, actual recordings in this documentary of the pilots talking to the tower.
Oh yeah, those are cool, man.
Yeah, they have an actual recording of Pennington, or no, the other guy, the sergeant from Rendlesham, who recorded, basically did a commentary of what they saw in Rendlesham.
The commander.
Which isn't bullshit because you hear voices in the fucking background going, look at the lights change. Look at that. It's moving towards us while he's talking. So unless
cool.
And that was the commander, the base commander that came to basically debunk what was going on.
Everything, yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And then he saw the same thing and then recorded it.
The FAA official is the one who snuck out all the documentation from the Japanese airline incident I think it's around Washington. It was flying to Seattle. And the CIA came in, took all their shit and said, this never happened. We were never here. Well, he had backups in his office and he kept it all. So he's got a video of the radar data. He's got a handwritten map of everything that was in the plane's way. Because that's how they did it back in the 80s. And yeah, he's got like the file, everything. The guy's had everything. And
yeah, he had the FAA official document
on it.
He also had the best mic drop exit line.
Love that guy. So based.
You can either trust your lying eyes or the government.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he walks off. It was like, damn! Oh shit!
Like, fuck
holy crap! I think I started clapping when
I like that
guy. Line, dude. I was like, this guy is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
that was fire.
It was fire.
And the most compelling thing about all of this is how it's completely different countries that speak different languages, that have different cultures, and they're
like
pilots,
people higher up.
Like, you know, well, like I was saying, it's not like government officials saying it or high level. It's like the guys that are doing the work,
right?
And they're monitoring it. They're flying these planes, and they're seeing something.
So in this footage, this is supposed to look like the one that the British plane saw. You're not going to be able to tell, but if you go to the documentary.
Oh, this one was interesting because the lights.
Because the lights shimmer across. Yeah. It's hard to tell here, but you can see the lights moving from right to left in this. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
It is so bizarre. So, yeah, and where is he? Yeah, here's some of the. Well, I'm looking through binoculars, and I am now, and there's a second one just appeared behind the first one from where I am, Roger 544, just confirming that all passengers can see this aircraft. I've got the island visual. It's dead ahead. Can't say how far, probably 5 miles, but it's saying the same size. Looks to be off the north. So these are two pilots in the tower talking to each other about this giant fucking UFO they're seeing in the UK. So, and there was the
Iranian incident from the 70s. That's the Japanese.
That's what it looked like. Is it
no
like the beak? they have the audio recording and it's fucking funny, man. I was laughing. Well, because what are you gonna say? It's like a civilian. We are flying up to a Death Star right now.
Yeah, it's like a giant soccer ball. I don't know.
Yep. So these are Rendlesham.
This is Rendlesham.
They talk about Rendlesham a lot. Obviously, he fucked his finger up there. This is an imprint. So the craft landed. Landing gear came out, left impressions in the ground.
No, that's the thing.
Molds of it.
I don't think it was landing gear that made those indentions because he did describe it. He had his notes from when he first saw it, and it said no landing gear visible. So but then he found the depressions and then molded those in that area.
So this is an actual picture of Rendlesham at the time. That the radiation was 8 times higher than normal.
And didn't they say that still to this day nothing has grown in that spot?
That was in the French place.
That was the French.
That was a French spot.
That was a French farmer.
And they showed that. They're like, yeah, when I went there in James Fox is like, I went there in 1999, which was 20 years after the French incident, and nothing grows there. And you can see it's all dead. It's all
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
And there's the Iranian guy.
Dude, when the guy just starts trying to interrupt James, and he's like, You didn't even let me finish my first sentence.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
on
right,
CNN, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, they are just trying to make
That guy looked like a wacko. The guy that was debunking him, that guy looked like a crazy person.
Yeah, he really did. Sounded like it too.
So when they talked to two astronauts too, who were very when they were alive. Well,
Edgar Mitchell was Apollo 14 astronaut.
Yeah.
And they asked him why do you think we're getting stonewalled? Why are they not telling us? And he said, which I love this, I don't think they know what to do. So they don't want to tell anybody. So, because if you imagine you're the government, you're supposed to be the person or the organization that knows what to do in every scenario, and you're going to get asked by people, hundreds of thousands of people are going to ask you, what do we do? They don't have an answer. They don't know what to do. So that's why they aren't telling anybody.
Okay. You're right. This is about power. Our government is not a government of the people by the people. It's the government for the government. That's what we have now. And if they show any signs of weakness, and that's their attitude, Disney's fucking up 5 Ways to Sunday. Do you hear them admitting it? Like it's obvious their stock is dying, everything. Do you hear them fucking admitting it? No, of course not. Would it help them to admit it? Well, they're just a fucking company. Probably would. But they don't feel they can, because the person who admits it will be fired and he will be replaced by somebody who will fix it. So that's the same attitude for the government's basically a fucking giant corporation anyway, and criminals. But that's why they don't admit this shit. And if they're not going to admit being okay with torture and droning our own civilians, they're not going to admit the fucking UFOs. Okay.
Yeah. And in DC, in the documentary, James Fox asks all of the witnesses that he brought in, all of the pilots over the decades, all of the astronauts, he brings them and he asks them, why is there secrecy? And they basically say the same thing. They say they don't know what to do. So that's why they believe that they're not saying anything, or why they're not going into anything further.
You go back to 50s guy doing a conference. And remember, we got a press conference from somebody else recently that basically said the same thing this guy said, which was, well, we're investigating, but we haven't found anything in about 5%, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
I think there's subtitles on this part.
There is. I can actually turn them on while I'm telling this story, and I'm going to tell you why this would never, even though we had somebody say the same thing, this would never happen again. This is the biggest press conference at the time since World War II. All right. And why did they do this? Because the public outcry was so crazy back then. And, we were moving into the Cold War, but the public pressure was so crazy that this guy had to come out and give a press conference. If a UFO flap happened today, do you think one of our fucking '1 top generals would come out and say shit? We didn't say shit about a fucking balloon that was flying over our fucking country.
Yep.
Right. So
and it was everybody except for them that were talking about it.
So the whole
why is this balloon here?
Is the military-industrial complex back then still felt somewhat responsible to the people enough to make a press conference and bullshit you. Nowadays, they could give a fuck. They could give a fuck.
Facts.
We could probably this shouldn't be. This is.
I mean, we're analyzing it, and it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, so I'm going to give it a shot. Where'd he fucking go? God dang it!
There he is.
There it is. There it is.
UFOs for a long time.
Blah 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 blah. I'm going to wait till he comes on the screen.
And
there's a 15.
Which is curious too.
In pursuit of this obligation,
and in 1952, they admitted it.
We have received and analyzed between 1,000 and 2,000 reports. There have been a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things.
Dude,
all blacked out.
The way that people spoke English back in the day is so refined.
What you mean? They were educated?
Even I know the way that yeah, exactly. That was so poetic the way he said that.
He didn't go to women's studies.
No.
I'm gonna keep it up. But Yeah, Razor Fist talked about this when he was on. He was talking about, Razor Fist loves the Western. But one of his criticisms is that it's always the Texas twangy accent. Nothing against my fellow Texan, but he's like, that's not how people talk back then. They were far more poetic. If you ever see how H.P. Lovecraft and other, or just regular people wrote their fucking letters, they had narratives, beginnings, middle, and end. Like they wrote them, they took time. We've degraded
everything had meaning.
Sadly.
Like everything, and you were represented in everything you did. So when someone saw a letter of yours, that was a piece of you, and anything that was a part of you, you wanted to be known for that. So even a simple letter that you were sending to someone meant something to you.
And it took a lot of time for you to write, to think of, to send, to transport to the person for them to read.
Paper was probably expensive.
Yeah,
I had to go out and buy ink.
Things actually mattered. Right.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
But again, we're seeing another example of credible witnesses, credible observers witnessing incredible things.
That's
what
where
is
the
it?
Exposure is going to come from.
We got to figure that out at some point.
This girl is still at it too, isn't she?
She's been at it for a long time. She's
right.
I mean, even though she works at the fucking New York Times, but she's the only person who covers like UFOs, like seriously. Like,
right.
And one of the very few women investigators in the field. It is very dude centric, but anytime a woman gets in, it's usually kind of a grift. So there you go.
Or she's really like out there, and she doesn't seem. She's not out there. Yeah. She's not way out there. She's grounded. She actually seems like a good investigative journalist.
Yeah. It's not a complaint. It's just a fact.
It just happens. It's just how it is. Well, it's what he says. James Fox says it in here. Like 95% of all these stories are kind of, out there and crazy and don't quite connect, and you can debunk them pretty easily. But there's that 5%.
Yeah. But it's a field as far as interest that I would say it's 50-50 as far as like who's into it, men and women. Like there's this.
Oh yeah, dude. At the Cosmic Summit and at Contact in the Desert, it was definitely 50%.
That's what it was.
Definitely.
Yeah. Mark Demshock for $50. Thank you, Mark. Spring of 1994, flying a plane with my instructor at night over Florida. We saw 3 white lights in a triangle right of us, matching our course and speed for a while. Called ATC to ask about traffic. ATC said no. Seconds later, the lights veered away and vanished.
Wow.
So many stories like that. By the way, you can fly a plane. Props.
That is cool.
Props.
Thank you, Mark.
You know what that reminds me of?
that was a good
Have
one.
you ever been driving down the road and a bird? You look and like there's a bird flying
on your
right
car after you've been to the car wash?
Yes, flying right with you, right? Like
and they're
perfectly, and you look over and the bird's just like, "Sup," and you're just like,
bitch.
"This is cool."
You need that car. I just need these.
Yeah, but that's the kind of energy I feel like they're probably going like, "Oh look, it's a human flying in unison with us." Haha, cute. Oh, they're observing us. We'll just go to a different dimension.
I think so. I think
so, dude.
I think the easiest answer is they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'm starting to think like your hypothesis about it being a completely different dimension makes more sense than them being of our universe and making it to us.
About it, I mean, like based on what we know of science, that can be completely flipped on its head in 10 years, by the way, because we are monkeys still. It takes a long time to travel between galaxies, and I don't care how advanced your civilization is, you would have to fold space.
Yep.
Essentially popping through another dimension. You're coming through time. So you're literally traveling through time. So, I mean, why not? Why freaking not? And like the universe, maybe it is infinite, but maybe it's within a universe of universes. We don't freaking know. We don't know. That's why I think it's so funny when we hear things like the science is settled.
Science, that's the biggest lie ever told.
Lie ever told.
No science is ever settled.
Isn't
That
it
is
weird?
like the antithesis of science.
Not every scientist is like this, by the way, but a lot of the quackademic ones who seem super just progressive and liberal are some of the most conservative fucking people I've ever seen. They are so in their doctrine and their dogma.
Yeah.
They're Neil deGrasse Tyson, whatever his name is like
that
Pluto
guy.
is a freaking planet, damn it.
fucking dude on the
Agreed.
planet. Fucking clown.
It's the smugness, I think, in a field that I would
I'm the
imagine you
smartest
would be
man in
not.
the room. I can't stand people that act like that.
I feel like it's like the antithesis of being smug. You should be like, I know that I know nothing.
Right.
But instead, the ones that talk the loudest, I think, is the issue that we have, are the ones that believe, like, we have everything figured out and nothing else. We can move on to other areas. Like, what?
A key to survival. I mean, this is like kind of rules of grifting, by the way, like not the fucking YouTube kind, but like the real life kind. You ever see the grifters? Never mind.
Like scammers?
Scammers, yeah. So like scammers, thieves, or if you want to survive in some place like prison or on the streets, one of the first rules: don't be the fucking smartest guy in the room, and don't act like you're the dumbest motherfucker in the room. Okay, because people tend to relax.
I try to practice that on this show.
I was gonna say that's what I do too. That's what I'm just like,
no.
They have
you can't take this from me, Garrett.
I'm way dumber than you.
Damn it!
Just accept it.
Or you could just
all right.
Like us, you could just be the dumbest guy in the room. It's okay.
I stop there.
But no, it's like anybody walks in, it's just like, yes. Well, you could tell his entire identity is like, I'm a science.
Right.
That's my identity.
So it makes me excited to see scientists and archaeologists in the other fields that we talk about. The ones that do seem that they're excited to find these new things.
Like put him up against Michio Kaku, who just seems like a cool dude. He's on all the UFO shows. I don't think he believes half of it, but like he'll talk.
No, he doesn't. No,
right? Because the only thing we have to
interest him,
be open to the possibility. That's all. We're not saying believe it. Just be like, hey, maybe. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
I think even after watching all this stuff, I've already said it on the show, I'm pretty skeptical of aliens showing up here and visiting us and whatnot. I think that there are aliens and there are life.
Visits you every night.
Except for Zorbu. He's my one and only.
Zorbu, right? Yeah, this is actually interesting. I was going to ask you in the beginning, because I know that you're a skeptic and that you've kind of been like, UFOs. And I asked you after you watched the whole Brazilian thing and we were discussing it, like, do you feel any closer to believing? So now this is much stronger, I think, of a documentary.
The Brazilian one,
And if there were to be proof, I mean, if there's proof, like the amount of people here that all
it's very compelling because there are so many people that say that they saw it. There's very credible people that they saw it, along with all these other stories of, again, very credible people. It's hard for me to, there's still a guy in the back of my head that goes like, you haven't seen it? So I don't quite buy it 100%. Yeah. There's still ways that people could either be lying or deluding themselves or whatever it is, right? I still think there's that possibility there. Until I see something myself, I feel like I'm never going to be fully like, I believe it. Yeah. So, but this is very exciting to me. These stories, the Brazilian one, very, very cool. Yeah, that's why I'm interested in the topic so much, because I want to believe. I want that to be real. It's something that I've always been connected to because my dad's always been into this stuff. But yeah, I've still got that discerning, like the aircraft carrier shot that you showed before. Like I see it, I'm like, okay, that shadow's fake. Blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So, but there are those stories that are just unexplained to the point where it's like, what is it? I don't know.
With modern video, it can't be too nice, or none of us are going to believe it. It's going to have to be a phone with somebody reacting in the background,
like this, with a lot of people reacting,
with a lot of people, and like corroborating, like other people seeing it, and that's the only way.
I don't even know if that's going to do it either.
I don't know either.
I need to see it myself. I need to go outside and look up and see something.
Well, chances are very likely you are never going to see one.
Hey,
You're
man.
never gonna see one.
Then so be it, right?
How
That's okay.
many mountain lions have you seen in the wild?
One.
They're
I haven't seen.
mysterious.
I lived in California for 50 years. They're running around everywhere. I never saw one.
I saw one, and it was, I think it was a mountain lion. It was in Arizona. It was in outside Tucson on a trail, and it was like, fuck, maybe it was not a cougar. What are the big lions in Arizona? I think it's the same, right? Mountain lions.
There's
Yeah.
El Jefe now. You guys have like cheetahs and shit.
No, it wasn't.
No, you have mountain lions.
Yeah, those are notoriously very stealthy.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I've been in Texas for over a year now. I haven't seen a single fucking armadillo, and I haven't seen a pig running around.
Well,
But they're
alive.
fucking
That's
everywhere.
fair.
They're everywhere.
I thought they're only
I saw
dead
dead
on the
ones.
side of the
I've
road.
seen dead ones, but I have not
Oh,
seen
yeah.
a living one. But I know they've been in my fucking front yard because you can when the armadillos like dig their
You're right. You can see
their
the remnants
nose
of them.
Yeah, you can see like little holes that they dig with their fucking nose or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think that's
They
why
are
I leave
cute.
the door open to the possibility is 100% there could be extraterrestrials showing up here. There could be other dimensional
is it a jaguar
beings
or
coming
cheetah?
across. I think it's
can't remember
totally a
what's El
possibility.
Jefe?
I don't shut the door.
El Jefe. There's El Jefe in Arizona. I think it was
El
a
Jefe?
jaguar. Was it a jaguar?
Is he handsome?
It's fucking got spots.
You've never seen a
Yeah.
scorpion in Arizona? What?
That's
Oh, I
crazy.
saw
I went
so many
all
scorpions.
over the place in West Texas playing as a kid, all up in like trash and big tractor tires that are piled up and all this stuff. Never saw a rattler. Not
Really?
once as a kid.
Oh man.
I
saw-
went to like a
I think my
rattlesnake
mom
roundup,
stepped on one.
but yeah, I never
I
saw one
think-
in the wild.
I think since I'm
Jaguar.
colorblind, I can actually find them better.
Oh, because
was-
it's like
I was-
a contrast thing.
Yeah, because I was walking with my mom and I just glanced down and it stood out to me so strong. And my mom was like walking and she was straight up about to like step on it. And I was like, Mom, holy shit. And it was coiled up and it right in the path. It was
Yeah.
crazy, man.
So
Yeah, that
maybe
was an
there are
insane
people like you that see things differently and are more susceptible to seeing stuff like UFO incidents.
shit.
That is the
It did look like
jaguar
that.
that has turned up alive. That roamed in Arizona, has turned up alive in Mexico, and they're starting to make their way north. Jaguars used to be in the Southwest, all over the Southwest.
Wow.
So I would
Holy
guess.
shit.
My guess is there's probably a couple that are there that we just haven't seen. So
Yeah.
that I mean,
Beautiful
they're
animal.
proof,
Wow.
beautiful animal that will fuck you up. But
That will eat you.
yes,
Eat a lot of pets, I hear.
You know, I the end of this video.
Yep.
The end of the documentary, they go into the freaking physics, the quantum physics.
yep.
They start
Yep.
start talking about that, and I'm like, man, there's an
The
underlying
possibilities
theme.
there.
Skinwalker Ranch. They're talking about that stuff. It feels like that's where they're leading now. Like Travis keeps an interdimensional portal, you know, and it's like, yeah, I know he's saying it kind of sounds like he's being extravagant, but at the same
I'm not
time,
being extravagant. There is a portal 10,000 feet above the triangle. And
yeah, you're so much better than I am at that.
well, I go, and
That's what's like so cruel about it is there's more scientists coming out and saying that there is a possibility of there being other dimensions, and it's kind of lining up with this UFOs phenomenon where it's like maybe it's not just like a little green man that's flown from Mars. It's something from another dimension that's either figured out how to travel or is somehow
Passing through.
bridging through for a little bit.
Well, didn't Hawking say that there's just like an infinite amount of multiverses?
Hawking was the one who said, maybe we shouldn't be sending signals out. It's not a good idea.
Not good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I agree with that, but too late now. By
Right.
the way, this is J. Allen Hynek, fucking Chad. I like when I get older. Sorry,
Goatee.
Yeah.
I want to adopt. I want to have a goatee with suit, smoking a pipe with my fucking Ray-Bans on, walking around everywhere. That's what I'm doing.
Yep.
Uh,
Dude, looks like a straight up G.
Yeah.
straight up G, like I'm the UFO G, mofo. Where's that?
Oh, wait.
Oh yeah, no. I wanted to like this guy right here. Hang on, I'm gonna risk it with this because it's pretty funny. what he says. Hang on. Not this guy, but the guy's following him.
Which would indicate that we have been visited by any advanced civilization.
There's nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide at all.
Yeah, okay. I believe that 100%, sir. Nothing to worry about. Please look away.
I saw that. I was like, I got to use that as a clip in my videos. That's fucking great.
Yeah, it's good.
Can you get worst liar on the planet?
Yeah.
Right there.
Dude. That's the thing, is like there is something, and I think they know that there is something. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to present it. That's why they're just like, oh, nothing to see here. We've investigated it. We've closed the investigation in 1958. Also, there's several other departments inside of the government that are investigating it right now that don't talk to each other. But it's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here at all.
Nothing to see here. So now we're in this weird place where the government at least a faction from the government has admitted something, and a faction of the people believe it, and a larger faction don't, including most of the UFO investigators, which
right
thing. But like, honestly, you can't blame any of them, right? Or any of us that the government, again, not that it had tons of credibility, doesn't have any anymore. Yeah. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. But right. Yeah, it's something that I just don't like. We've got mandates coming. They're really going to try to push this. I think it's good. I think it's going to fail miserably.
Oh yeah,
I hope so. I really do.
Well, I mean,
I'm safe.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not abiding by any of these rules.
Yeah,
are you?
Screw that.
Well, fuck yourself.
Dude,
I hope that people aren't as gullible as they were last time.
I said October,
December,
it'd be coming
whatever.
But we're flying. Flying next week.
We are flying next week, and I ain't putting on a mask.
Nope.
Fuck that.
I agree with my friend Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. There is no fucking scenario where I'm putting on a mask or abiding by any mandates.
No.
None. So
what if they make us wear a mask on the plane?
I won't wear it.
I'm gonna be sipping a drink the entire time.
Slow, one peanut at a time.
Like I'm still nursing a cup of coffee for 9 hours, dude.
Yeah, that's how I got on it. There was a guy who had a carrot in his mouth.
It's kind of
it was so fucking infuriating because it's like, you know, that it is like
it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. And you're just in this system where people just go, it doesn't matter, but those are the rules, so I have to follow them.
We were supposed to go to London last time at lockdown. We had a trip planned and everything.
Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Man.
Maybe it's our fault.
Maybe.
We keep trying to travel.
We're going.
London's like, whoa, we don't want these Americans.
In a week. I have mentally prepared myself to get on a fucking plane.
A long plane.
Only a week.
A week. I'm gonna be there for 2, bro.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only going to be in a week that we travel there.
Only in a week we travel.
Can't wait.
We've got so much work to do before that. But
who's coming to meet us next week?
Critical Drinker, who might come on the show to talk about the Atlov Pass.
Cool.
We're gonna work on that. Cool. I don't know.
Next Sunday there's no show because you're traveling.
Because I think so. I don't know. Yeah, because
we might try and fit something in.
I'm leaving during the day, but if you guys want to do one,
I'm also leaving during the day.
Yeah, I'm leaving during the day.
Damn.
Okay, so yeah,
maybe it'll be whenever we get to Stonehenge. I think is.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
So that Thursday, if we can go live, because I don't know if we'll have internet.
Maybe when we get back to the hotel.
I am, but it's just to visit somebody. I don't think I'm doing anything public, but we are going to do a very casual meetup, which will probably be outside somewhere, quite frankly. And we'll let you know when we get there because we have no fucking idea where it's going to be.
Yeah.
But we will do something like outside of London that will be casual. That will be, you know, I mean, I can't go, hey, I'm going to Clarkson's farm. Let's all fucking meet. That probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Right.
Although, why not?
So I think it might happen.
But we'll think of something. You know, it looks like we don't know what we're doing for the second week yet. We have no fucking idea.
That's fun. I like that. Those are my favorite kind of trips.
I know we were supposed to go to like France, but we're like,
Yeah, right now, I don't know.
I don't know. So
I got a guest bedroom.
We got options. Hey,
Well,
all right,
Dude, I live in a freaking beautiful Hallmark card.
Sweden.
I kid
go
you.
up there.
I kid you not. I kid you not. You are welcome to come vacation in my
Thanks,
house.
man. I'll pass it on to Mrs. Nerdrotic.
It's beautiful.
I thought you said I'll pass.
And tell her that the blueberries in the forest are bigger than ever this year. And
they bloom right now.
There's blueberries as far as the eye can see in my forest.
God.
I'm serious.
That sounds rad.
So, just saying. Yeah, just saying.
Sounds rad.
That'd be cool.
All right, let's get to some super chats, shall we? Do we want to keep? I love this face, man.
The very obvious.
The face
I
of
have
government.
more to say.
Dude, his eyes are like, you haven't seen what I've seen. Oh my gosh, that alien killed 3 of my friends, and they told me I have to tell you this. Oh
my goodness, my goodness. Lady Gravemaster, did you send?
She's in the back. Lady Gravemaster's in the back right now.
Did you send the link? I didn't get the link. She
just posted. Sending.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at the star.
Oh yeah, we could. I forgot. We're like on StreamYard, so I can do the star.
Yeah.
I am functionally retarded, kind of like the entire Disney Star Wars universe. Thanks for watching my video today, by the way.
Thanks everybody.
Garrett's, I think, best editing job.
Thank you.
I think it was your best editing. You
have been on par.
I was like giving him instructions, and like he was already doing shit, like the Han Solo and the Austin Powers thing that you were already starting on it. And I'm like, oh,
already on that. I think it's the Disney Star Wars stuff that I think the last time I did a Mando was my favorite one that I did, and now this one. So
you want to know why? It's the lowest hanging fruit. It really is. It's so easy to make fun of, dude. It's just like it writes itself. Arc Spartan has been a member, a traveler for 2 months. 2 months exploring the Forbidden Frontier. Thank you.
Thank you.
Arcturian Jedi for $10. I lived in Tempe, Arizona back then. I watched a triangle-shaped UFO, no lights, no sound, fly over my house at 10:15 p.m. the night before the incident. I told no one of fear of being not believed.
Wow.
And you're not the only one who reported that there was stuff going on a couple of days before.
Yeah.
But yeah, they mentioned that there's a guy from the 50s that they talked to who said, I am sorry I said anything. If a UFO landed by my gas pump tomorrow, I wouldn't tell anybody. I just want to be left alone. I'm being called crazy and all this shit. And how many? I mean, I would say most of the sightings have not been reported. It's far easier to report it now. I think you won't get any shit. I don't think you would get any shit. If I was
I don't think so, because I think culture is leaning towards believing it more.
Yeah,
I think they asked a question in that, and they said that we asked the internet, and this is the internet in 2008.
2008,
and the internet, however they asked it, was 75% of people believed it, and I think that would be way higher now, and with a larger swath of questions and people answering, I think you get a lot more people that are going, I think there's something out there. So,
indeed,
it's leaning in a good direction.
Clem Fandango.
Clem Fandango, can you hear me?
A member, a traveler. Welcome. And William 101 have been a member for 3 months. Hail to you. Chris Bounds for $10. Gary, have you had a chance to look over the flying saucer tech notes I gave you at Anime Matsuri? Yes, I have. They're fucking awesome. Like there's full on art in these things. They are brilliant. I got to make copies for you guys. Do you mind that, Chris? I hope you don't mind. I got to make copies for my co-hosts. It gave me a file, and it's fucking awesome. Thank you.
He gave me one too.
Oh, you did? Good.
I think so.
Good. We got to get one to Adam. And yes, I do. Mr. Nerdrotic reminded me I've got to get the book recommendations list going, so I'll be working on that tonight. Okay, tonight.
For the meantime, in the description, there's a little list of a few books.
Yeah, And if you have them, I am looking to start collecting older UFO books that are out of print from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's kind of like my jam right now because they're cheap. And I'm digging back further because I think we're getting. So like with this documentary, they had interviewed some of the people and it had been like 10 years, right? And it's still pretty clear in their minds. The closer you are to the event, the better. It's weird that they caught Stephenville while they were filming this. Like Stephenville happened while they were filming this. And
that's why I was writing down like the dates of things, and then they did the Stephenville part, and I was like, "What date?" He was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, he's like,
"Dang, dude!"
He's talking to a guy. Last Tuesday, I saw a giant UFO over my farm. It's like, whoa, I forgot about that part, and I remember when Stephenville happened. Pyramids are encoded alien claim stakes. Thoughts? Why not? I don't know. Although hieroglyphics are definitely Egyptians. The older stuff had no writing whatsoever.
I think those are us.
When the guy described when they had it's not a cartographer, but the guy who studies symbols in the documentary was talking about the Rendlesham UFO. And he said the symbols are on it. He said they're very utilitarian. Basically, like this is this ship that probes, basically. It's like a surveyor ship. That's all it was. It was just there to identify. It wasn't anything like artistic or
it wasn't trying to send a message,
any fucking message or anything. It's for them for reference. We don't even get that with the ancient megalithic construction. And remember, most of it that we see is like heavily eroded, and I am of the firm belief that it's thousands of years older than the archaeologists think it is. And it looked pretty fucking good at the time it was created. Super utilitarian, but like very like, this is just a practical thing that we're making. Oh, of course it's a tomb. Everything's a tomb and a place to go pray. Except, Ben from Uncharted X has pointed out that when we get to the older construction in Egypt, it looks like draining systems and water, and not saying it's a water treatment plant, but it looks like a water treatment plant, something underground. It's very cement looking. They don't care like how pretty it looks. It just needs to be functional. That's what I think.
I love the movie Stargate as a kid, and this is not implied at all in the movie of Stargate, but in the movie, the alien lands on top of the pyramid in the alternate Earth, whatever, the Earth 2.0 that they warp to. And you can see it kind of like sits perfectly on it. And that's kind of like the landing point. But I studied Tesla a lot. I really like Tesla. And when he was younger, he went to Egypt and loved the pyramids and really tried to study them. And he gathered that they were basically telluric current gathering devices and were emit the current into the air. And that's how he turned his light bulb. When he's standing there holding his light bulb, that was like understanding how to harness the natural energy of the planet.
They showed that on Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
When they had those big things out, and they just stuck the light bulbs in the fucking ground and they turned on.
Right.
That's fucking cool.
So like that's a telluric current that passes over every single day. Like we could actually design devices to charge everything based on that. But regardless of that though, I think the pyramids were these energy harnessing devices. Now, what that energy was used for, if it was an alien device, like maybe they did charge their device, their ship.
You could use water.
Go ahead.
The engineer Christopher Dunn that Ben talks about, and it came up with the whole. It's a power plant, I guess, or one of the people.
I see that.
That is a very smart man, like beyond genius level engineer. Dude's a fucking a brilliant mind. So like he's not some crackpot like Christopher. Like watch some of his stuff. It's legit.
Well, neither was Tesla. I mean, that's what Tesla.
No, you're right.
Talks about that's what it was, right? And that he based a lot of his inventions off of that time. Like he spent, I think, 3 years in Egypt when he was 19 to like 22, and then went to New York, and then started competing with JP Morgan and Edison.
It's weird is people like that still exist, but they get gobbled up.
Right.
These little phenoms get gobbled up early into the system. And
almost as smart as Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, nice one, Cyber Chad. almost as smart.
I know. According to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's good.
Oh, here we go. Meant to ask last week, given the topic, did you guys ever watch the cartoon The Mysterious Cities of Gold? Was obsessed with that as a kid in the 90s. No, I didn't. So
no.
my British pound.
Did not watch that.
No, but shout out to Luke Caverns, though, man. That was
a fantastic episode. He was great.
I didn't want to stop him from talking.
I
But you were
know.
like 2 hours hard out, and I'm like, it's two. We were already 15 minutes over, and I want to.
Always got to leave. I know, but we'll save more for later.
Well, I don't know if he's watching.
When he comes back, we'll start earlier so we can go longer, ladies.
I'm okay with
that.
Hey,
that's right. Now, Luke's the man. Go subscribe to his channel, watch that show. He was really prepared and really effing good. And he clipped out some clips on his stuff that's awesome. Like he did a great job.
Yeah, you can cut that passion with a knife, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, he's totally in on the subject. Very passionate and knowledgeable about all the things he was talking about. It's very cool. Even after he made a correction, he was that dedicated. He was like, no, I need to make a correction to this one thing that I said. It was like a little thing, but he was like very dead set on making that correction. So I mean, that's how you.
Oh, that's good.
That's how you know the passion's there.
So and any guest who comes on, you're free to cut whatever you want out and put it on your channel. Don't care. It's good. It's all good. It's all good with me. We got $20 from Johan Naxos for $20. Thank you. Have a great day, boys. We played pew-pews with pew-pews. We ate cheeseburgers and drank beer. That sounds rad. I mean,
America. Sounds like America right there.
I wish I could shoot things and drink beer, but I can't. So,
okay.
I don't care about beer, but shooting things would be fun. My new tri-field meter just showed up, and now we get to talk weird stuff. Hail, Forbidden Frontier crew. Hail, chat. Hail to you, Johan. Sounds like a fucking solid day.
Oh, yeah.
May your days be filled with fun. John Kelsey, thank you for the $20. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh.
Jimmy is a new member. Thank you, Josh, brother. Just dropping 20 and just fucking walks out.
Yeah, man. What a Chad.
That's some Chad shit right there.
It's Chad energy. Ramba Rao for $20 says, "Hail, gentlemen, got promoted at work. Congratulations."
Congrats.
So have a little something for entertaining Dad and I the past few years. Looking forward to seeing you. What big city is next on the Zorbu Flyover World Tour? Zorbu's going to have to answer that question. That's a question.
Yeah, that's up to him. Or it. I don't want to assume.
Yeah, they, them. We can be safe.
Yes. Yeah.
I can confirm Zorbu's a male.
Oh.
You know what?
Don't ask me why or how I know.
Do you think any alien is going to fly over San Francisco right now?
No way.
No, it smells like shit, doesn't it?
I told this story already, but if you watch Twisted Metal, it's like this outside. It's post-apocalyptic. All cities are walled off, and they have all these like they have the people who are outside of the city all like up against the door, and it looks like fucking San Francisco. It looks like modern San Francisco. I'm like, sci-fi can't even do it anymore. They can't even do it. It looks fake. It looks fake. It's the zombie apocalypse is here.
It's cheap to shoot shows now, though, because the set's already set up.
It is, because you could just go down 6th Street or the Tenderloin in San Francisco, and it's as post-apocalyptic as anything. As a matter of fact, Mad Max looks downright clean compared to that. Bubba Doom won for $20. Hail, Bubba Doom. Anderson Cooper has been full of crap since the 90s. You are correct. When I was in
much
high
longer
school,
than that.
They'd pipe in Channel 1 in our 5th period classes. I get trouble for calling or the garbage they were forcing on us to watch. And
probably calling out the garbage.
Calling out. And guess what? You know why CNN even gets rated? Because they have a contract to be pumped into fucking airports and gyms.
Not anymore.
In hotels.
Not anymore.
Did they lose that? Good riddance.
I think it was like 2001 or 2021 or something.
Pretty soon you're gonna see like doctor disrespect in airports, and that would be fucking great. By the way,
that would be great.
I'm all for it. This is from Quantum Sledgehammer for $20.59.
Nice name.
Thank
Make
you.
the profile picture to match too. Quality. I like it. I'm
If the
a big
Phoenix
fan.
Lights were alien craft, they would have to know the humans are seeing them. So, what are the chances things like this are intentional by aliens to keep humans talking about them, but not quite enough to prove their existence? Are they fucking with us? I think that's a possibility.
That's a high possibility.
Or
Or they just don't care. They're so like it's almost like a zoo. You know, they just pop in. They just go, okay, we're monitoring them. What's happening in Phoenix? They're doing some stuff and they leave. They're not even thinking about, oh yeah, we had some lights on the bottom of the ship. They just leave and then we're all like talking about it for 30 years.
Well, they make a joke about that in Hitchhiker. It's called being a teaser. It's you know, it's a bunch of high school kids or college kids with nothing to do. They fly down to some unsuspecting soul, put little antennas on their heads, and make meat noises. It's really really quite childish, really, but that's part of it. It's a great book.
I got to see that movie again.
Yes, it is.
It's been a while.
You need to read the book.
You got to read the book.
I've never read the book.
Read the whole series.
No. Okay. Radio show. There was a 12-episode radio show on the BBC. That's how it started out originally. It didn't start out as a book. It started out as a fully dramatized radio show on the BBC. It's one of the greatest radio shows, if not the greatest radio show. I don't know. It's kind of that between that and Lord of the Rings. But as far as original, it's the greatest radio show ever made. You can find it on Audible. There's also an LP version. It's a little shorter, but I'd say go the full 12 episodes of the radio show that does Hitchhiker and Restaurant at the End of the Universe. You will not regret it. It is some of the funniest shit you'll ever
Next
hear.
time my wife and I take a road trip.
There you go.
Also, the Douglas Adams read audiobooks are great.
Yep.
They're really great.
Purchased X-Files season 1. Acting, producing is dated, of course, but the dialogue is tops. Now, as I am older with better comprehension, I am captivated. X-Files is the shit.
I need to do a rewatch.
Idea. Same here. I was too young for X-Files, but I
me
remember
too.
enjoying it.
Did it come? Was it on the same channel as Star Trek?
Fox.
It was on Fox, right? Yeah,
it aired on Fox. It started on Friday night. It took over a UFO show called Sightings in the early 90s, and it was a mid-season replacement. I was pissed at it because I was in prison and I fucking love the signing shows. Started watching it from episode 1. I think Seth Green is in episode 1 or 2. Can't remember. Fucking love the show. By the way, you know, not created, but co-made by the same person, Vince Gilligan, who did fucking Breaking Bad.
Really?
Saul. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. Carter, Vince
Gilligan. I need to do a watch.
Yeah. All-time classic show. It meandered on at the end, and it's supposed to get one more season because the last season that aired on Fox 3 years ago, is a fucking cliffhanger.
Really?
So it's supposed to get one more season.
And they made several movies too, right?
Yeah, they were okay. No,
well, there was like a revival came back.
Revival,
I was gonna say
it came back it came back for 2 seasons that were like 2 years apart. And I'm not kidding you. Most of the lore episodes are kind of meh, but there's separate episodes within these 2 seasons that are 2 of the best episodes of X-Files ever made.
Okay, I gotta watch that.
Mr. Chuckle Teeth or whatever, and the lizard episode with the guy from Flight of the Conchords. It's fucking. They're 2 of the best X-File episodes ever. They're in my top 10 for sure.
Wow.
But the rest of the seasons are kind of not so good. Yeah, those 2 episodes are fucking phenomenal. I always found it strange when people claim that aliens are, I can show you guys this, are technologically advanced. They couldn't possibly crash their ships on Earth. Being technologically superior doesn't mean infallible. Thank you, Rich Uncle.
It's a great point.
For $9.99.
Yep.
Great point.
Very true. There is nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all. I'm sorry. It's just so
He's still there.
It's perfect,
I'm keeping
dude.
it there. I laughed so hard when I first saw that. I'm like, how did I miss that? That is great.
Can we play it one more time? Could you play it? I just want to hear it one more time. It's very enjoyable.
themselves found out something. The Air Force did its best to play it down. It's called it a balloon, called it a star, called it
Balloons, meteors, satellites, aircraft seen with the sun glinting off of them, and birds. Our critics continually charge that the United States Air Force is withholding information from the general public on this subject. This is absolutely untrue.
And there is nothing in the records which would indicate that we have been visited by any
This guy,
advanced
too.
civilization.
There's nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide at all.
I'm glad we settled that. All right. Now shut your ass up and get back in the kitchen.
He's like a chihuahua, just like, there's nothing to
Which
hide.
would indicate that we have been visited by any advanced civilization.
There's nothing to hide.
There's nothing to hide at all.
He's trying. He's put on a good face. He's trying. It's
Yeah,
not
just leave
working,
it there.
but he's trying.
Thanks, P for T Justice, by the way. We read yours earlier.
P for T Justice.
The general, and I can't remember his name, who headed the project at Area 51, once said at the first flight of the TR-3B, they have their UFOs, and now we have ours. It says Vice for $20. Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt, we're reverse engineering this stuff. We have stuff. We're reverse engineering it, and some of it has been implemented into modern technology already. They have already used it for all the military purposes they needed, and now to fund some of that, they have let these contractors capitalize on it and get it out to the public. And maybe some shit we're using right now is from reverse engineered technology. I totally believe that. I mean, like, let's just give you a hypothetical. Say you want to get ahead of a virus. So you go to Wuhan and you start a lab, and you want to get ahead of this virus, but what you really want to do is make the cure so you can make a bunch of money. You can't really do this in America anymore. If you get caught, there's checks and balances. So we do it in Wuhan. But see, there's no checks and balances here in America for things that we don't admit to and say aren't fucking real. So we could be doing all kinds of crazy shit in the middle of the desert of Nevada that make the Wuhan lab look like fucking play school. Okay? It's just a hypothetical, though. Not saying I do that, because the science is settled. Science is never wrong. And
masks work.
Yeah.
Masks work.
Yeah. If you admit to stuff, then that means the American people start asking you questions on what you're doing with that stuff that you've admitted. So don't ever admit anything. I mean, nothing to say here. Move on.
What were those two lawyers that were going viral for, like, if you get arrested, shut the fuck up?
Oh, yeah. That was, I love that guy.
Yeah.
You don't talk.
Which is very
Had
good.
those big rings.
Yep.
It was great.
What's first thing you say when you get arrested? Nothing. Shut the fuck up. Is it possible that the military or a contractor was working on holograms? It would explain why there is no sound.
That is also a
really expensive and dangerous. There's planes flying over. I think if they were working on I'm sure they are working on holograms, by the way. But I think they do that in a controlled environment.
That's
a very hard thing to do.
Over Phoenix. Phoenix is a huge city, and it sprawls out really wide. It's not like it's condensed. It's a really big city.
Yeah, it's like very much like a SoCal city. It's a southwestern city. It's not building up. It does build up, but they build out because they got plenty of room. Plenty of room.
They got the space.
Overpopulation. Drive through the fucking Southwest. Talk to me about. Drive through West Texas and talk to me about overpopulation.
Right.
I thought. Did Howard Hughes go crazy and die, or did he fake it all and go full John Galt, build spaceships and move away? Maybe.
Who is John Galt?
John Galt was.
I'm not actually asking.
I don't know John Galt.
Yeah.
Who's John Galt?
So Howard Hughes is a strange story. I think he just
very
got
strange
syphilis.
story.
I think he fucked a lot of people and got syphilis and went crazy. I think that's what happened.
I love the story. He bought the casino across the street because he wanted to turn the light off. So he was like, their sign's kind of glary. I'm going to buy it and then turn it off. That guy's crazy.
Yeah.
So John Galt, who's John Galt?
It's from Ayn Rand.
Okay.
From,
I have not read Ayn Rand.
Atlas Shrugged.
Atlas Shrugged. Yeah, it's
Lady
weird.
Grandmaster got me.
I think he got a lot of money and got a lot of syphilis. That's the only thing I can think of. Or maybe he found out some deep dark secret that just broke him. Having all that money, it doesn't make you happy. Not saying you should turn it down or anything. It's just hey, the mega rich. Why do the mega rich need so much fucking power? It's for kicks. It's a kink for them. It's some kind of dominance fucking kink, because nobody needs $1 billion. Nobody needs $2 billion.
Oh, they're still trying to fill that hole.
You wouldn't fucking spend that much money in your fucking life.
True.
Chasing that happiness that it doesn't give them.
Elon's spending it to go to Mars.
That's cool. I'm down with that kind of stuff.
I mean, he's going to
do
die
more cool
there,
stuff like that.
but at least he'll get us there.
Happily.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think he's totally happy to do that. But I mean,
oh yeah,
dude, sandstorms that encompass the entire planet for months.
Well, that's why it would be an underground base instantly. Like,
what was strange? You want to hear a strange
only
story?
thing that makes sense. Ad Astra. You remember Ad Astra?
That makes way more sense.
A lot of sandstorms happened in 2016 or 17. Can't remember the exact year. I drove through one. It's never a good idea. Do not do that, by the way. I decided to forge ahead and drive through a fucking sandstorm. Holy shit.
Wild.
It was fucking bad idea.
You can't see.
You can't see shit
here.
I got off the freeway and just started taking like little side roads, and I'm in the middle of the fucking desert in California. It took us hours. We should have just sat there and fucking done nothing, but whatever.
Would have taken the same amount of time.
The weird part is these sandstorms were kicking up in SoCal. They were kicking up in the Middle East. They were kicking up everywhere. And it was at the exact same time a sandstorm was kicking up on Mars.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's weird.
What year was this?
It was like a few years ago.
Cool.
Mr. MBB333 did a video on it too. Very strange how they acted similarly. I remember my dad. There we go. I remember my dad telling me about a UFO he saw fly above him in Colorado between Buena Vista and Salida late at night. It made absolutely no sounds. We should, I don't know. We should see how many people how many stories are out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Garrett's kids.
Oh,
hey, shut it!
You don't have to tell them to shut it. It's fine.
No,
they can't hear me.
Okay.
No, okay.
Like they're gonna.
How can we hear them though? But
it's a good mic.
It's a good mic.
Good mic.
And they have shit ears.
Yeah, they have little baby ears.
I just it seems like there's a lot of people out there who have a story, either one of their own or their dad or mom. Southeastern Kaiju for $10 says, oldie that always made me laugh. Science doesn't believe in Noah's flood, but believes Mars once had water. Mars had water, and there were massive floods on Earth too. And guess what? There were massive floods on Mars. Oh, by the way, Randall is going live tonight.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Oh,
say what? Is it tonight?
Or tomorrow?
I thought it was tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Maybe it's tomorrow for you.
I have his tweet up somewhere.
Maybe I got that wrong. I thought it was tonight.
Well,
Randall's
be excited about that.
And he's going to talk about the plasmoids, and he's also going to talk about the
Monday,
Maui
tomorrow night. It's
tomorrow night at 9:30. Watch Randall. Tell him we sent him.
Maui fires.
Maui fire. And if you have a chance tonight, go back through his old Chicago fire videos and stuff. And basically, his theory is basically that these fires might have started from above. Like it could be a remnant.
Like the sun.
People have been talking about energy weapons on Maui. All the blue, the blue burned. It's like it's pretty interesting.
Weird. It's so weird.
I love weird. I'm going to tell you, I love weird. But being in the middle of a fucking forest fire, of a brush fires, a forest fire, they act so strangely. Like they make no sense. They create their own fucking weather, and they can spark up and just, dude, I spent most of my time running away. It was really boring. We'd be digging fucking, a fire line or something like that. And when it got close, it could be harmless and go another way, or all of a sudden it's like 30 feet fucking high and you need to run, just fucking run. So, yeah, I could, if the conditions are right, I can see Maui burning like that without some energy weapon.
Yeah.
I could just see it happening. Because I almost saw the entire, like the city a few years back, and it's almost happened twice now. The city of San Diego almost burned down. Now,
recently?
This is like, think about Phoenix burning down. So this happened 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It jumped a 16-lane freeway, this fire, and started creeping in. Almost got close to Jamie's shop, like wiped out huge swaths of San Diego. It didn't get to the downtown area, but like if the wind had kept up, it would have burned all the way to the coast.
Wow.
And it was nuts. So I can see those things happening. I can definitely, shit burns.
I'm curious to see what Randall has to say about it.
Yeah.
I am too, because he talked about the fire up. I'm blanking on the town name now. Santa Rosa fire. That burned down the school my kid was going to go to, and they closed down for good. That one was insane. That's the one that turned San Francisco. The sky was orange for days. It was weird. It was fucking weird. That was a nasty fire. That's probably the nastiest one I've seen. I've seen a lot, because shit burns in California every summer. By the way, they'll tell you it's climate change. It's fucking been doing it for 10,000 years. Where am I here? How we doing? Okay. Using a gravity drive would allow you to bend space and time, basically instantly travel from distant galaxies to here without light speed. Yeah, like we'd be gods. Thank you, Otoko Magnet, for $5. But having some understanding, that I can believe. Like some basic understanding. Watched a video some time ago where a guy was filming a dark sky, but lights showed up in his infrared camera, but not in his regular video rig. All out of bubblegum for $5. That actually happens a lot. That's why I want to get those night vision cameras when we start doing more field studying, which is just an excuse for us to fuck around and go to ancient places and UFOs and call it work.
Mm-hmm. Working hard.
Kev A has become a member. Cheers to you,
Traveler.
Welcome, travelers. Jeremy's creamy back end for £5 I'm glad it's changed from drunk 3POs. Whoever these aliens are, they're clearly not that advanced because they don't understand the Prime Directive. Obviously, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
They're messing that Prime Directive up.
Going to watch the documentary after this. Says Fish Shooter 24. Good. You will not regret it. And thank you for being a member. Pale Eyes for $13.99 Canadian, part 1 of 2. Thought, though the existence of a portal to an alien plane may seem preposterous, we must remember that what seemed impossible yesterday becomes common sense tomorrow. Exactly.
I agree with that. That's why I leave that door open. I think it's very possible.
Well, I mean, it's now pretty much agreed upon theoretically that there's multiple dimensions. How many? How like string theory, but it's something that we can believe now, which sounded insane 25, 30 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
It's something I believe. And then there's the simulation theory that, like, Adam was just talking about, like, I'm sorry, they weren't particles, but like, was it particles?
I think it's quartz.
Yeah, I don't remember.
When they're observed, the electrons, when they're observed, the
act of observing them changes their behavior.
Changes their behavior.
It's amazing.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
So,
well, and also
quantum entanglement of two particles.
I was about to say
up and down, like
quantum entanglement.
There's so many different things.
At any distance. That's the craziest shit.
Yeah. any distance. You could separate them across the entire galaxy and they still respond to each other, which is crazy.
Yeah, like how does that make any sense?
Makes my brain hurt.
That's crazy, dude.
Believing that UFOs have come here is the same as Bigfoot, and with technology that we now have, there is no way we haven't caught it. It's impossible.
Well, that's the science is settled, guys. Andrew is basically this is the science is settled. That's what that says right there.
I feel like, yeah, okay, maybe, but you think about the stories from Luke Caverns last week, right? Of all of the area that we still have not even looked at. We have the technology to look at it and we could detect it, but we're not scanning at all times. We're not looking at every single aspect of the Earth at all times. So things can definitely get slipped through because we're looking at such a small sliver at a time.
We think we have this like superior technology.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
We haven't LiDAR'd the entire planet. We have yet to map the fucking floor of our oceans. 70% of our planet is not mapped.
Right.
Okay. We haven't traveled every square foot of the redwood or the forest in Northern California or in Oregon. We haven't. We just haven't. There's vast swaths of forest in Canada that do not get traveled by people.
Yeah.
So like it's, we're not quite there yet. There's large portions of this earth that people don't go. There's a whole continent down south that has a couple of, couple of double wides down on it that are called bases. But we know shit about. So, I wouldn't get too arrogant as a human. Bigfoot's a tough one for me. I want it to be real. I want there to be a big, fuzzy, lovable guy.
Could be at some point in history. There may have been
running around, putting Bigfoot,
big feet everywhere.
Big feet everywhere, but don't know. But man, there's been so many sightings. So I go back and forth, but I think UFOs is far more believable than Bigfoot, and ancient civilizations is far more believable than UFOs. So,
absolutely.
Sneer at what you don't understand at your own peril, for one day you may find yourself on the wrong side of truth. Wow. You are not wrong.
Facts coming from Pale Eyes over here.
Yep.
Right. Straight up facts. We've been told we're on the wrong side of history for the last few years, and how'd that turn out?
Right.
Yep.
Hey, Andrew, totally right about this. We did a whole episode on it.
We did, Andrew.
Yeah. We did.
And we'll do another one, Andrew.
We'll
do another one because Missing 411 is.
Yeah, we covered like a few specific people.
Yeah, there's so much more.
A few stories.
No, Dave Polides is the shit. I'd love to get him on the show.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to get him on the show.
A special edition.
Missing 4. There was a documentary that just came out within the last year where like he finally starts getting in the UFO subject, which is really good. So go check
those
that.
two.
If you haven't seen that, Andrew, go check it out. Phoenix on the web for $10. Hi, Gary. Did you see that even Jesus knows that Miles Morales is Miles Morales? I did. I retweeted it. That was so fun. There's an AI Jesus. I know we
can ask it questions.
We have Christian, viewers and subscribers, and with respect to them, there's an AI Jesus out there.
You knew it was going to happen.
And Yellow Flash asked it if Miles Morales is Miles Morales, and he said Miles Morales is Miles Morales.
Miles Morales is indeed Miles Morales.
Also, would it be cool to see? It would be cool to see someone on the talk about Native American legends like the Thunderbird, etc. Yeah, I would love to talk to somebody about that, because I think, I mean, they're not. The tribes aren't really big on talking to us. Okay, for good reason. But the lore is fucking rad. I mean, I love the lore. It's even if it's just stories, they're cool. But I think there was something to the Thunderbird. Definitely do think there was something to the Thunderbird. Get Lore Lodge on if you want to talk about Datlov Pass. All right.
I'd love to have Lore Lodge on. He's actually got a really interesting channel. Talks about a lot of the same things we do.
G Luck 9,000 for $2. See what See you in London, gay boys, says Scott Christie Jones for £2 See you there. William Fredrickson is a member. Hail to you. Agamemnon Fireman says is a member as well. Oh, dude. And that's Time Bandits right there. There you go.
Classic. Didn't you get a record, Time Bandits record?
I did. I got the soundtrack.
That's so badass.
On vinyl, reprinted for, I think, Record Day or whatever. And it's hanging in my theater. I've got the 4K version of Time Bandits. It's a fabulous movie. Baku Nawa. Did I say that right? Hey-o! We're almost done here, Adam.
You said that right.
Hey-o.
We're almost out of here, Adam.
Oh, yeah. I'm fighting my yawns. I'm trying not to be obvious with it.
I enjoyed the Vice Grip Garage cameo in today's video. Gary was unexpected. That's Garrett. That was Garrett.
I've been watching a ton of Vice Grip Garage, so that was my... when you said that in the script, I was like, ooh,
yes.
It's my time to include Vice Grip. Great channel.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sure he's totally okay with. I'm sure.
I hope so.
Movie Pitch Meeting was totally okay with us using their face. Pale Eyes once again, who's been a member for 2 months. Cheers to you.
Thank you.
Love this show. Love you guys. I'm going to be sending a package to each of the members of the Forbidden Frontier in the near future. Look forward to it. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
We will accept your package.
Thank you. Well, that's on
with
really
pale
good.
eyes.
Gawker's Death Rattle for 5 Canadian pesos. Just instructed my Zenial kid to go
Zennial.
find Zennial. Oh, a Zennial. Okay, got
It's a Zennial.
It's
It's like a Gen Z.
Gen Z millennial, a Zennial kid to go find and watch the X-Files. His only memory of the show is Inbred Hillbilly episode, which is a good one.
I remember that one too.
He's going to have fun. Hell, he's going to love it. X-Files is the shit.
I feel like with Adam, I was too young at the time. I was even younger than Adam, so I was like,
you were a baby.
I'm just absorbing it from my dad watching it, so I just get the scary bits.
Oh, so you didn't watch any of it like live or?
Yeah, I didn't watch any of that live as it was coming out until like the movies. I think was when I was first really aware that it was
I was
out,
on
so.
vacation when the final episode aired, and we like stopped what we were doing. We were at the lake, and we were doing some rafting.
Like it's X-Files time.
X-Files gotta go. Went back to our hotel and watched the final X-Files.
Yeah. That's why I want to do a full rewatch because I've watched like random episodes as they came on like TMT. So
I was in a town called Kernville in California. So those of you in the Bakersfield area know what I'm talking about. And not far from not really close is giant sequoias. So if you're in Southern California, just drive up to Kernville. And if you want to check out a giant sequoia, they are fucking amazing. And they're just these giant trees that look like trees that were around during the dinosaurs. They're all really fucking old and massively huge, like 72-foot circumferences around, like just fucking huge.
That is dinosaur stuff over there.
That is dinosaur shit. I like to think Earth is right off the edge of a hairpin turn on the intergalactic highway that drunks don't make. Nick Naylor for $5. Well, we are in the unfashionable end of the western spiral of the Milky Way galaxy. Douglas Adams. Judah for $5. 150 years ago, I was still alive, by the way. People believed flight was impossible. We did. Now, not only did we land on the moon, we watched it live and held a conversation. And yes, we landed on the moon. Okay.
Watched it live, though, is a little sus. I don't know about that. But I do think we landed on the moon.
We landed on the moon. Get your powerful telescope. Go look. There's fucking the cars. There's the track. There's the fucking flag. I mean, it's like, yeah. I think Mike Barra mentioned he wrote a script for I think he helps the Y-Files write scripts, according to Mike Barra. And I love Mike Barra. If you're out there, I want to get you on the show, dude. I want to get you on the show, brother. And he mentioned that I don't know if he's doing it in jest or not, but I don't know what the situation is. But I guess they talked about why the moon landing is real. It's absolutely real. I believe in a lot of crazy conspiracy theories. We didn't fake the moon landing. We did not.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, we did not.
Do you know about the new space race? I found this out because the Russian probe blew up. Russia and India basically announced that they were going to go to the far side of the moon to survey it to see if they can make a moon base. And Russia blew up, and the day after that, India landed. Also, China, Japan, are planning to go and build a base. So there's a new space race to get to there and build a base and claim it, basically.
Now, if
I think the probes were to see if there was water there.
Well, there is.
Like to see if they could tap into find out where it is. And,
now, if they go there and they find a base that's been there for 10 years, I would believe that too. Okay.
Right.
Would that be great?
Well, China's already been they've been on the far side of the moon, and they built their space base in Argentina, I believe, so that they can have constant communication.
Would you get on a fucking Chinese rocket? Fuck no.
I'm not trusting that.
Although, have you seen their space station compared to ours? Shit, dude.
I saw the comparative photo, and it's like super clean.
Yeah, I'm sure it looks good. How those
looks good.
How are those seals? How's that tile? Yeah.
How's that radiation?
Is it lead paint that's lining the inside of there?
Fucking way I would go into anything.
I would trust Dragon. I would go into space in a Dragon capsule from SpaceX.
Yeah, from SpaceX.
It's still too early.
That's what the top is called, where the Dragon.
I'm gonna wait till they're.
You thought it was Chinese? No.
Aaron
I'm gonna wait till they're on mission like 50.
If they know what's there, they will not scan. Yep. Well, I think scanning the bottom of our oceans would be enlightening. Just on the scientific level, forget aliens. I think they would find sunken. I think they would find a lot of if we find a way to scan
Atlantis,
they would find Atlantis.
Off the Azores.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, like you said, aside from even that stuff, like just finding old ships that have crashed down there and
old ships,
new sea life that we don't know about, or new structures that
there's probably insane amount of sea life that we know nothing about.
Yeah.
There's probably, what they keep
massive. I think the majority of it.
They found fish that were supposed to be extinct for thousands of years, and they fucking are alive. So, I mean, yeah. This is the last one of the evening, by the way. Johann Naxos for $20. Cheers. Up until the 1990s, rogue 100-foot plus waves were considered tales of drunken sailors. Good point. Sea monsters and negligent captains, until the Dropner oil rig recorded one, and goes sats confirmed them all over the planet constantly. And there is video of one hitting a cruise ship. And it's fucking insane. And why wouldn't there be rogue? I mean, it's a big fucking ocean. Wind happens. No.
Sorry, I'm having fun. I'll be honest. I didn't hear a word of that super chat. I just saw
Adam. God,
I just saw a bar over my face, and I'm like, "Oh, this is kind of fun." I'm like Wilson from Home Improvement.
Rogue waves. You ever heard of a rogue wave?
Similar thing.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Similar thing is the colossal squid. They thought that was a myth for a long time, and then they finally pulled that up the last 10, 15 years. So I think there's the majority of shit that's down in the ocean, we have no idea yet.
I can't wait to find out.
Is this it? Is it just Monster Wave?
Oh, you're looking for the video?
Yeah, I can't find it right now. We got to
go.
The
rogue waves?
The rogue wave, but you have the YouTubes, and you can look them up whenever you want. God, I'm on my different computer, so it's at like normal setting, and I have to zoom in 150% just to read this shit with my glasses on. It's pretty sad. Garth.
Which one of us is
Maybe
I'm Wayne. No. Garth, watch Junkyard Dogs, Robot, Cantina, and Musty One.
Am I Garth?
V6?
Yeah.
V6, who are you talking
Maybe
to?
I'm
right?
Garth.
Party
Hey, this
on,
is kinda
Garth.
like
Last
Garrett.
Nemesis. I came to hate Mwahaha, says Eric D. June.
Eric D. June.
Nerdrotic has behind Lizzo when has been behind Lizzo when happens. I hope not, because I will die, Eric.
Rogue Waves. How do
That's
you
how
think Rogue Waves start?
Lizzo.
That's-
Yep. Same
Lizzo.
track.
Lizzo farts. All right, Garrett, what do you got coming up?
Tomorrow, Based Af Mondays with Adam and crew on Adam's channel, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Normal World on Normal World's channel. So go watch and subscribe. And then we're flying over to the UK. We can go see a bunch of you guys over there. I cannot wait. Dude,
Next
I'm so
week.
excited about this. I'm so excited just to see like the touristy dumb stuff in London, you know. I just want to go see the Sherlock Holmes Museum.
We're
gonna go to the
see Sherlock Holmes.
Museum
We're
of
going to do
Britain.
the London Dungeons, which is just schlocky tourist. It's like a
I love that
half-hour-long
stuff.
underground ride of tortures of like mannequins being tortured
cool.
and shit. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
like when we went to Tombstone.
History. Oh, Tombstone was the
When
shit.
we went to Tombstone, people were like, "Oh, it's a tourist trap." I was like, "That was
Fuck
perfect.
you. It was
That's what I
awesome.
want." Yeah, National History Museum. We're gonna go there. Cannot wait. And then Stonehenge.
Bath.
And then and Shad said something about there's like the biggest collection of swords
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, I gotta go to that.
in the world or something. That he's like, I want to go to the sword place. It's got a name.
And
I don't
Clarkson's
remember
Farm. So
what it
We're
is.
going
Gary,
to Clarkson's Farm.
I kind of want to go because I watched a video on Clarkson's Farm and it looked cool. So
Have you
I
not
can't
seen
wait.
Clarkson's Farm yet?
I haven't watched the show. No, I've watched like videos that go through Twitter every once in a while. But
I still have the bayonet. I have a bayonet that I bought in the UK in 2002.
Cool.
And I bought it from some like fucking old, like an antique store.
We got
antique stores. That's also on the
Can we
list.
go to those?
When I got
Antique
this
stores,
bayonet,
definitely.
when I got this bayonet, the guy's like, "This is World War One, and a lot of Germans died on this one." And I'm like, "Oh, give it to me." And I was able to put that in the plane and fly it back. And yeah,
What? That's crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna take a big big bag and fill it like a
Post
quarter of the
9/11, by the
space.
way.
Most of that space is gonna be shit I'm gonna bring back.
Nice.
Like some of that nut cream.
I'm gonna give you all. I'm gonna bring packs.
this show is brought to you by
Nut cream.
Swedish nut cream. It's delicious. Put some nut cream in your mouth.
The flip, that was good too.
I mean, I kid you not. This shit is delicious. If you like Nutella,
Is it like?
you'll-
I was going to ask if
it's
is it like
better.
That's what it
Nutella.
looks like.
Nutella?
Dude, it's better than Nutella. If you like
Wow.
Nutella,
Okay.
there's nothing on Nutella. This or Nutella's got nothing on this stuff.
Got nothing on that. Okay.
Oh my gosh,
All right.
it's so good.
Get a room.
I hid my camera for a little bit earlier. I don't know if you noticed.
He was
You're
spreading it on
dipping.
his nuts.
Just so
He was
I had a
putting
little
nut cream on his
I
nuts.
put a little nut cream in my mouth. Okay. I'm sorry.
What do you got coming up besides
It
putting
never
nut
gets old.
cream in your mouth?
Well, tomorrow I'm gonna open the show eating some nut cream.
Good.
Over on Base Staff Monday, because that's a lot of fun. And then Tuesday, Titans, me and George, we're gonna be talking more about the Trump stuff. You know, George the Giant Slayer. If you don't know who George is, you're missing out. His videos have been on fire lately, and they're doing fantastic. Really hyped for George. We're gonna eventually do a live stream on his channel, George.
Yeah, I thought he was setting that up like a
I
year
know.
ago.
Yeah, right. Oh no, no, we're
I keep
we're
asking.
gonna wait for my birthday. Well, we're gonna wait for my
Yeah,
100,000.
I was
Well,
going to come on or something. I said,
gonna
sure.
wait.
And then I don't hear anything.
George, we're waiting.
So-
Anyway,
So
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, the first solo live stream, just do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Get it out of the
Were
way.
you afraid? You afraid? No, George is a beast. But anyway, Tuesday Titans is a lot of fun. George the Giant Slayer joins me on my channel, and we just talk about politics and stuff. Monday through Friday, I go live on my Rumble and Locals channel. I've been playing Division 2, but I haven't even touched Armored Core 6 because I wanted to wait till I go live to start playing it. I'm gonna start tomorrow night. Armored Core 6. Very excited about that. And then, of course, next week I'll be in London for the first time. I've flown through Heathrow, but I've never been. I don't think that counts. That doesn't count.
No, I don't count that.
We are going to be a bunch of
I'm excited.
nutheads running around London. This is going to be
Pip.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a hat. I want to get a bowler hat, but maybe there's some other hats there that might catch my fancy.
Should I?
We're gonna go to the.
We should all get bowler hats.
Hold on. Let me ask you.
We're gonna go to that hat shop. Okay, we are.
Oh yeah, I want to go.
Where I got my bowler hat.
I'm a hat guy.
Okay.
I like hats.
Should I show up?
God.
Yes.
Should I show up wearing like my full on Alexander Hamilton?
The colonies have returned.
I think
I've come to shit on your tea. Just like I have a white powder wig.
I'm gonna try crumpets. I want to try British tea. I'm gonna try all that stuff.
Coffee shops and start taking their tea and throwing it out the fucking.
That's a skit right there. That would be pretty funny.
Adam, let's do that. Let's do it. I'll put it on Normal World.
Yeah. All right. Hurry back so I can say goodbye. All right. What do I have coming up? I released a video today. Real BBC on Az's channel Tuesday. With Chris Gore doing the nooner on Wednesday, Friday. Who's our guest? Oh, Little Platoon.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Little Platoon is joining us. He's fucking great. So I can't wait to talk to Little Platoon. Congratulations to Culture Casito. I'm reaching 10,000 subscribers, buddy.
My token.
Proud of you.
And my
the following week, I hear you have a fantastic guest on Friday Night Tights.
Ooh, who could that be?
I wonder who that could be. It's only because we'll be there with you.
You don't even have a choice. On the show. They were like, damn it, we're trying to like figure out how to do it without him. I'm like in the corner, like, hey guys.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I can't wait to hear how many times Az is going to remind us we're in his time zone. And he's going.
Oh man, he's just going to rub that in our face so much. It's going to be 3 a.m.
It's all right. We'll just say,
I'm good because it's 3 a.m. right now. I think. I don't even. Where's my?
That's all I'll do. I'm going to bring my soundboard.
Oh.
That's Az's theme, by the way. All right, we got to get out of here.
Okay.
Hopefully, X-Ray Girl's okay in the Alps. She doesn't get lost in those.
No, she's
those
not
mountains.
Getting lost. She's being educated right now at her training.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Just camp. Just day camp.
Yeah,
day camp.
Voluntary. All of it. Nothing to see here.
Thanks to everyone who left a super chat donation. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. Bye.
Bye.
Nerdrotic. I made it to the end.
Yay!
Welcome, travelers, to the fringes of reality, where the strange and mysterious meet, and the thin veil between fact and fiction is torn. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.